Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. We're offended, you're offended. I'm Kim. Wow. See, this is.
You're offended, or fuck balls.
And this is what happens when I have him sitting right next to me. All right, fine. You do the intro. My master.
Sound check?
Yeah, I sound checked already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
We're live from San Francisco, where Alto is hurting himself. We're not actually in San Francisco.
Fuck that shithole.
It just made me think of Full House. Wake up, San Francisco.
Ow, my foot. Okay. All right. Let's get this absolute dog shit of an idea off. Okay, so what? We're offended, you're offended, episode
Number 12.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I guess some big stories that have been coming out, I guess in terms of defunding the police in Canada, and a lot of election stuff is coming out. So that sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of Canada is actually on fire right now, and we're trying to, hold an election while we have hundreds of people in BC and Ontario and Manitoba fighting forest fires.
Actually, an election that's going to be going on right away?
It's already been called.
Seriously? And what is the election for?
A federal election.
Which is, okay, I'm 5. I know nothing about politics because I'm awesome like that. So the federal election, so provincial, that would be like our Pallister. So federal is that Trudeau. Yes. Bye, bitch. Bye, Felicia. Okay, let's do this shit. Let's get him out.
Okay, well, before we get too far in all that stuff, we have a returning guest.
Jimmy!
Jimmy Jetz.
Hello. My name is Jimmy Jetz. I'm here to talk about stuff.
How's it going, Jimmy?
Pretty good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get some things out of the way. You can follow us on Rumble, on YouTube, Grindr, Pornhub. What else are we on?
Facebook, Instagram, Anchor, Spotify. I think you said already. I know we're on a bunch of other things. Google Podcast, I think Apple Podcast as well. We're kind of all over the place. So we're trying to come at you from every single angle. We're trying to stalk you because, that's how I do.
Well, if there's anything that I've been good at is stalking people. That's all I do in my my off time. Support us, our shitty little chit shit in on PayPal. Link will always be in the description if you want to donate or whatever.
Like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want to hear us bitch about. That's always fun.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so whenever Jimmy Jetz gets back, the pleasures of doing an online show. Okay, let's kick this pig. All right, we got all our introductions out of the way. Oh, I guess we actually. I'm Tyler. That's Kim. She's over there.
Yeah, and he's over there.
Yeah, over there. And Jimmy Jetz, whenever he shows up, he'll say something.
Jimmy.
Okay, so I guess starting with this first article, it came from CTV News, and it is titled as a video of a Manitoba RCMP who appears to be kneeling on a man's neck prompts an investigation.
How long ago was this?
August 12th.
Are you shitting me?
What? You're cutting in and out again. I'm not doing that.
I said, are you shitting me? There's another man kneeling on someone's neck again?
Well, okay, so I'm not a combat expert, but I've heard from other combat experts that the knee on the neck doesn't do what was reported to have happened in terms of with the George Floyd thing.
Okay, but so I clicked on your link here, and I'm looking just at a still of this picture. Are they like okay? And this is why we need a cop on the show. But Novocaine. But when you see someone kneeling on a neck, to me that doesn't seem right. I can understand their knee being on their like in between their shoulder blades, like further down, but directly on the neck like that, that is so dangerous. Like, how is that even okay?
Well, so okay, ladies, I don't want to hear what these people have to say, really. I just want to see the video. Okay, so I guess in this video, it looks like the cop is kind of on the guy, like the bottom of their head onto their neck and then back a little bit. Okay, so whatever. The article says, so an investigation is being launched after video was played in a trial which shows an RCMP officer who appears to be kneeling on a man's neck as he screams he can't breathe. The case stems from an arrest from more than 2 years ago outside Winnipeg's James Richardson International Airport. Officers were responding to a report of an assault involving an intoxicated man on the night of August 1st last year, 2019. Now the accused, a 42-year-old man from Alberta, is arguing his charter rights were breached due to excessive use of force. The video was presented as evidence in the court case. One of two videos played in the trial at the Manitoba Law Courts. In nearly 5-minute long cell phone video captured by a father or by the defendant's, or I guess the accused father, one of the officers appeared to be kneeling on his son's neck while the guy was screaming he can't breathe. And the officer says, "You're breathing." An officer can be heard yelling in the video, "When you're talking, you're breathing." I'm sorry.
What a fucking smartass. Oh my God.
Well, okay. So we don't need to go too much further into it. So the thing with the George Floyd thing, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm totally convinced that the officer in Minneapolis was completely guilty. Maybe some things in terms of training, or maybe some things in terms of protocols were maybe overlooked. But like, I don't know, for whoever watched the trials, I guess, son of a bitch, I just papers all over the floor. But in terms of like seeing the court case with the officer from Minneapolis and George Floyd, I don't know. The reports and even some of the videos they were showing of George Floyd even before this incident happened that unfortunately ended his life, the guy did the same thing. He would keep saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." He kept saying the same stuff, and then cops would kind of take pity on him, and then they'd loosen up, and he'd be fighting. I don't like. We're all outside observers. First and foremost, we're not in, like, I would say probably 95% of us aren't cops, and most situations, most of us would probably do 10 times worse than what the officers are trained to do. And I think policing is a super hard job. Right, Kim?
Yes, I would agree with that. I was watching that video. That video just made me extremely angry.
Why?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you while you're talking on the ground.
Don't worry, hands up, don't shoot, right? Okay, so why?
Well, for one, like, okay, it starts off for showing like the cop kneeling on the guy's neck. And you can actively see as he's sitting like on top of him, like, God, I wish y'all could see me right now. But as his knee is on top of his neck, he's leaning forward and then lean forward. And the guy is saying, like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And the guy's leaning forward, like leaning more on his neck. And then, of course, makes that dumbass comment, well, if you're talking, you can breathe. Which, okay, like, is laughable as that is, Like, that just makes me want to punch him in the head. Like, that was just such a smart ass remark. And not even just that, the guy, I don't know what their conversation was, because
That's
I
the big thing.
had, okay, but I don't know what their conversation was because I had it on mute while I'm watching this and listening to you talk, or the sound off, whatever. But the thing is, the guy, yeah, he's looking at the cop, he says something, and then you have 3 cops jump on him and started attacking him. Like, he did not use any force. He was standing there. He didn't start resisting. He didn't start doing anything. And 3 of them went on top of him. That is not okay. If the guy was resisting, trying to run, whatever, but if he's just flipping his mouth off, really? That gives the cops a right to beat the shit out of him?
Well, okay, so in most situations, actually, I think Donut Operator, I think he's an amazing ambassador for police because he was a police officer and he ended up leaving the force.
Yes,
So,
which is somebody that I've seen some videos and have a little more understanding about cops from him and why they do
mhm.
certain things, why they, the tasers, all that other kind of jazz. But I mean, that was really not okay. And I don't think even the donut operator, I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't cheer on someone beating up another guy and putting him to the ground just for flipping his mouth off.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know when someone because I think when someone is finally there's a difference from being detained and being arrested. When you're detained, is officers saying, we're investigating the situation right now. You're not free to leave. Sorry, just hit my mic. But if the officer is now saying you are under arrest, so if this guy was involved in an assault, well, they're saying that it was allegedly a assaulting, yeah, an assault involving an intoxicated man. So I'm assuming this guy got in a fight with someone. He was drunk. Excuse me. And so I assume he was already getting arrested. Whether I don't know. I think there's different levels to fighting with police. Like there is like passive resistance where you go limp or you don't move, you don't comply. I don't know. See, like I've heard from like MMA fighters that the knee on the neck, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, but it's not going to kill you. And these are guys like they're trained in this type of stuff.
That's the thing, though, is yes, they are trained in that sort of thing. I mean, watching
See,
that cop, the way that he kept leaning on him more and more. Now, the thing is, when you're watching this video, I did send Jimmy the link to it so he could watch it as well. But when you watch this video, it goes in different parts. Like at one part, you see them on the neck. Then the next part, you see the guy, which looked like he was like flipping off or whatever. Hold on, let me finish.
okay,
Then the
sorry.
next part, you see him, which looks like he's just flipping one of the cops off, and then the 3 of them tackle him. Then you see another part. I'm not trying to flip you off here. And then you see another part where he's standing there, and you see him kick his leg at one of the cops. Okay, so then the detainee had kicked one of the cops. Okay, but that wasn't in the same shot. Then there's another shot where they're pulling him out of a car and one of the cops is being quite rough, but you can see his legs are out because he refuses to get out of the car and they're going in after him. So this video that we're seeing in this article is literally bits and pieces. We're not seeing from the beginning to the end. So I don't know. I honestly now I can't make a conclusion because it's too choppy. It's all over the place.
Well, and that's the sorry. That's the shitty thing with these kind of like news articles and these kind of things. Like they'll only show you the juicy bits. I'm sure if they showed the entire thing, like what you're seeing, like you could see when he initially starts. What?
Sorry, can you check something on your end? Because Jimmy has been trying to talk, but we can't hear him. He says he might be muted on our end.
No. Uh,
Did you invite him to speak?
yeah, that's why he's up here.
Uh, Maybe boot him and re-invite him?
Okay. Well. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I invited him back. But so you're
Can you talk now, Jimmy?
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yay! There you are.
Hi.
Okay, now we're in business.
okay. So in terms of when I'm looking at this video, you could see before they're actually trying to grab, or I guess trying to detain the guy. You can see at I think it was like 145 or 147, maybe a little bit longer than that. But you could, one officer has him kind of from behind, and you could see another off. You can, it's like a split second. You see he goes forward, another cop, and I know it's probably really cool how I'm around my microphone, but you can see him kind of jerk forward. Maybe it was the cop behind him was trying to do something. I don't know, but that's what it looked like. He was trying to jump or jerk towards another officer, and then the officer grabs him, puts him down on the ground. But yeah, I can't see the entire video. So yeah, they're gonna chop it up and make it look like the cops are just absolute assholes. I don't know, but I do know cops have big egos. They got really big egos.
Oh, especially the ones in frickin' Winnipeg, that's for sure.
Oh, that's our CMP.
Well, is this an RCMP that we're talking? Oh, it is too, an RCMP. Well, I don't know too many RCMP officers personally. But there are, I've heard stories about Winnipeg police. Again, this isn't all of them. I've also met some really awesome guys who are not like this, but
Cruiser. Oh, did that not come through? I said at the back of a cruiser.
well, yeah, obviously.
Oh my god. Okay, mute your headphones.
I keep trying, but I go to speak and then you belch because it's super attractive. That's so hot.
Okay, but so yeah, in looking at this video, I don't know. See, and it's such a hard thing to say. Like to give my armchair quarterback and
So I'll put my 2 cents in.
you ever
So I'm reading another article right now since we're on this topic, and since the George Floyd thing happened in Minneapolis, and
they did a what? I beg your pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm coming in and out because I'm on a Wi-Fi. So
Yeah, I heard you were looking at another video or another article about it after the George Floyd thing, and then you stopped.
okay, so since 2015, there's been 237 times during a span in which the neck has been restrained by someone's knee.
Okay, so 237.
Wow.
But since 2015, that's like what, maybe 15 times out of how many millions of interactions a year?
Right. So out of 237 times, 16% of the suspect that had that happen lost consciousness.
Okay, lost consciousness. Okay.
Okay. So for that statistic right there, I mean, it might be that the length of time and the amount of pressure being put on the individual at the time is the issue.
Right. Yeah, which I guess in terms of like the George Floyd thing was he was already hopped up on ecstasy.
He was already going downhill because of his fentanyl and everything.
Yeah.
So he was already on his way out. The next thing just didn't help.
Yeah, and that's always kind of been the argument was, did the officer kind of help it along and in another situation where he possibly may not have died, but
he was already under the lethal amount of fentanyl, so we can't say there's already. I mean, that's a whole another topic about the defund police, because that subject right there, there's already been 2 examiners say 2 different things, so we don't want to get into that.
Yeah, and it's very diverging opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
That goes along a couple episodes ago with the conspiracy stuff. So
with this video that we're watching, I'll try to put the link for it in the description box when I post this. But like the officer had made a comment in the video that he was kneeling between his shoulder blades, which in this video you can clearly see he's not. Like, it shows it from different angles. He is clearly on the guy's neck. There's no shoulder blades at all.
So I think that if you're clearly using the tactic that you're supposed to use during that type of restraining, and when you're placing your neck on an individual's neck, I don't think it's actually supposed to be on the side of the neck where you're reducing the amount of blood pressure or blood that's going to the brain. I believe it's supposed to be on the back of the neck, on the spine itself, on the cervical spine.
Yeah, which would make sense for it to be in between the shoulder blades, not on the neck. Because even I almost called you your game name again. I'm so used to calling you your game name. Um, even when Tyler showed me like pressure points and stuff like that, like in your neck, like there's a certain spot in your neck that if you just, this is how we do, that if you just put pressure, like it'll make a person pass out, like it's restricting the blood flow.
Absolutely. That's like choking them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I haven't watched or I haven't been following this all this close in terms of like the national attention that the George Floyd thing got. But I don't know. Like, I kind of come from the side of the cops already have a hard enough job as it is. It's an impossibly hard job. And I remember seeing there was I think it was a pastor. I'm sure video of a pastor saying, "Oh, he was criticizing the police and this type of stuff, and saying that, well, cops suck at their job or whatever." But so I guess they ended up putting him through some training, and they were giving him different scenarios. So it was like he had like a toy gun, and he was following one perp, and the perpetrator ends up going around the back of a car, and the guy's saying, stop, where are you going? You can't leave. And the guy breaks line of contact or line of sight with the guy's hands. The guy turns around, back around from the car, bang, bang, guy's dead. Like the officer, the critic playing officer. And so, they said, well, okay, well, this is why you screwed up. This. These are the procedures, and these are the things that you did wrong that ultimately would have resulted in you dying. And okay, and then the next time a perpetrator is walking towards him, and the guy's saying, stop, don't move, and he has his gun at low ready, and the guy keeps getting closer. He raises his arm and shoots him, this officer. And so the instructor's like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Why'd you just shoot the guy? Why'd you shoot him? He wasn't hurting you. Why'd you do that? He said, well, he was approaching. He started coming up with excuses. Well, he was approaching me. He was a threat. He was da-da-da-da-da. And after that, he completely flipped. He's like, okay, I understand now. Like, they are making decisions in seconds, not even seconds, less than a second in some situations, especially.
Yeah, I watched that same thing.
Yeah. And so it was a real big eye opener. Like it actually even worked with me to say, okay, like I understand more. So that's why
it's split second decisions.
Yeah. It's whether you go or not.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of that one video that we were watching when I went on the road with you. And it was that train station where they had people that went into the thing. They were going for like an interview or something, and then they would, oh, okay, I just have to go someplace. Can you just watch this thing? It should be fine. If this happens, just hit this button, but it should be fine. And then they'd leave them alone. And then on the screen, they would actually act out. They put a fake feed, obviously, and it looked like somebody was going to die. The train was either going to go towards one person or it was going to go to multiple people. And you had to make that decision.
So to give a better example, so people, it was always the...
Oh.
No, but I'm trying to explain it because you just saying train on whatever. So it was trying to create a real world situation of like the train track like phenomena or train track dilemma. Would you would you do nothing and let a train kill 5 people? Or would you actively switch the track so the train would kill 1 person? So ultimately the decision is, if you do nothing, this series of events will continue to happen. But if you influence it, so now you're making the decision to kill 1 person in order to kill or not kill 5. And that's actually some things that they're working with smart cars, is they're trying to almost prioritize in a no good choice situation. Like, do you kill a child or do you kill, a group of teens crossing a road? And it was that kind of situation. So
Just
I guess.
it was quite the video. Like, it was quite surprising to see people's reactions and what they did. How many people actually just froze and just let the thing kill so many people because they didn't want to make that choice. Like, that the thought of making that choice and potentially killing one person was too much for them to handle, and just let
Mhm.
the 5 die. Like, it was quite interesting. And just you talking about this video, how they kind of hypothetically, okay, this guy who's ragging on cops, okay, well, you're going to play the cop. We're going to act this out. And just kind of, you realize, like, your impact, and that exactly that less than a split second decision you got to make.
Well, and in terms of seeing like the stuff that like Donut Operator, like that he uh gives commentary on. He tries to give, the side from the others, on the other side of the badge, so to speak. And he'll show videos and you'll see, like, in some of them he'll say, like, you know like there was a video where this lady was getting all pissed off because her car was reported stolen and the cops were trying to sort it out. And he kept saying, this guy is standing here with his hands in his pockets. What the fuck is he doing? And he was in one other point that he was showing in that was, she said that his, or Donut was saying, the boyfriend was like, he was saying, like, oh, he's all bark no bite, because you could see how he's acting. He's trying to front, he's trying to intimidate the cops, and like, him, he's a big fucking baby, he ain't gonna do shit. But this guy, he's standing there, he's not saying a word, and his hands are in his pockets. He's like, I would be watching him as opposed to the guy just making a lot of noise. So it's picking up on that type of stuff. And then there are some videos where cops go to stop someone and they don't stop. Even shooting them, they don't stop.
Right? Which makes me think of that other video. That guy that did they shoot him, or did they tase him multiple times and that guy wouldn't go down? That big guy.
Oh, that big black guy?
Yes. Oh my God, that was such a fucked up video. That was scary.
Yeah, they tase him. And he has like a cigarette, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Oh, fuck you, bitch!" He like points to some other person, and he gets tased.
Oh my God, he got tased so many times and just still kept moving. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a fucking hard job, and I don't envy any of these guys. I think they have to make super hard decisions, and I don't know. Like I said, a lot of them do have an ego, and a lot of their training, at least that I've heard of, is a lot of us versus them, and I think it makes it really, really dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with that. Plus, you have a lot of them that get very jaded and they get crooked, and they think that they fucking run the world. They can do whatever it is that they want to do because they're a cop. It's those ones that give the good ones a bad name. Like, you see, I know you're very anti TikTok and stuff, but there is one guy that I follow on TikTok, actually two of them. This one cop, like, he's constantly playing basketball with people at the local park. There's another guy, he is a canine unit guy, and he does a lot of stuff like with his dog and stuff. And it's just, those cops are so amazing, and there's so many really good cops like that, and unfortunately people don't see that. People see the pieces of shit and then think they're all bad.
Well, it's not exciting. That's the big thing. It's a cop playing basketball in the projects or in a poor neighborhood. Well, who gives a shit? But if that cop ends up having to shoot someone or has to detain them and people get all pissed off, well, okay, we got to run with that one. But all the, all the good stuff that cops do, and no one cares. And like I don't know. I've always been a big proponent of like cops. I think cops need resources. Like if they're going to be doing this job, okay, they need resources. They, if anything, the whole defund the police movement. Okay, I could understand the war on terror or the war on drug thing. Okay, I can understand. Take that money away. Get rid of the non-violent criminals. Get them out. I think that's bullshit. That's such a stupid fucking thing. You've turned more people that aren't doing anything. They aren't hurting anyone. Let them go. You've turned more people into criminals than I think you've really helped.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, and there's remember mute. And I guess I don't know. See, and I'm a little torn because I understand cops have a hard job to do, but then at the same time, what have we seen over the past year and a half? Cops are just more than happy to violate other people's rights, and that is where the dichotomy in this starts to happen.
Explain more. Like, what is making you say that? Like, give an example of.
Cops arresting people in their house, cops entering people's, private residences, charging people for going outside, people.
But that you can't just put on the cops. The cops have to answer to somebody. The cops are paid by someone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's the thing. If a government or whatever is telling them that you have to do this and this is what they're supposed to be doing, I'm pretty sure a lot of the cops that are out there that are handing out the tickets do find it bullshit. I think some of them sit there and they're like, yeah, come to the park. Come on, you little shit. Come to the park. I'm going to fucking ticket you. 100%. There's going to be those guys. But I think it's, people are getting orders.
Oh, well.
Hold on. Oh, Jimmy's trying to talk and it's not coming through again.
I don't know why.
He said, question, why are folks calling for, was that supposed to say defund? And who are they representing? Must be left woke peeps trying to defund. 100%.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to push back big time on you saying, oh, they're just following orders. That's the same defense that they used in the Nuremberg trials. I was just following orders. Nuremberg trials after Nazi Germany, there was trials on all the SS officers that were, committing all these acts of genocide. So I don't to say, oh, I'm just following orders. Oh, okay, so you don't have a single moral thought in your head. Like for the standard and training and okay, uphold the the Constitution and the laws in which this country is founded on. But at some point, there was an article I remember seeing about an officer that was doing this, and he ended up taking out he was taking his kids to the park, and he got arrested and fined. And he finally said, "What? Like, what's going on here?" He said, "This is bullshit," and he ended up quitting. Good for him. Yeah. If a cop is going to come into somebody else's home and say, you can't do XYZ in your own home, get fucked. That's where, I support officers that actually follow the law and have a conscience, not just, I'm following orders. Okay. Well, because if I don't do the job, look at the way the country is going, look at the amount of debt that we have, and then turn around and say, oh, well, I don't want to be like them, so I'm going to oppress those people so that I don't become them. You have something to say? Say it.
I know you can see my hamster going in the ball here, but I I don't know. I really don't know. Like
I think it's pretty clear cut.
no. Like my brain doesn't know. My hamster is like in the wheel, out of the wheel, in the wheel, out of the like it's that's a I don't know. I don't know. Like the thing is I can uh, how do I even form my thoughts here? Like when I think about someone saying, okay, like I'm trying to pretend I'm in that job right now. I'm not just looking at someone doing it. I'm trying to pretend if I'm in that job and my boss is saying, okay, well, you have to be ticketing people if you see them out. Like, we're not allowed to do this. The government is saying this and that, or our bosses, whatever. This is what we have to do. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, well, right, I guess I have to ticket people. But then when you're talking about
Please have discretion.
then when you're talking about, what was it, the Nuremberg trials? Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that's, even, I don't know. Like something like that, that's pretty serious. If my boss was saying you had to go torture and kill somebody or whatever, no.
No, it's not even that. It's mute yourself.
I was getting there.
It's the idea of willfully following orders. And I'm sure a lot of these cops and a lot of high ups are not saying things like, you have to do this. They would say things, I'm sure, like, these are the laws that we have to enforce because we're trying to do da 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 da. It's not a you have to, otherwise you can go, you can form up with the bread line or with the rest of the, all the rest of the scum in the world. I'm sure they're not saying stuff like that. Maybe they are. I don't know. With this us versus them kind of mentality, possibly. Yeah, that really sucks. I don't know why.
I don't know why he can't talk. I don't know if it's his Wi-Fi being shitty on his end. I told him just to keep trying to interrupt. If he can talk, just keep hello. Okay, oh.
I tried moving him back. Okay, so what do you? So Jimmy Jetz ended up saying, "I believe it. Mute yourself.
Oh, fuck.
I do believe length of time and position for neck holds, including knees, need to be addressed. But I also understand most folks that get into that position are unruly, and police are trying to subdue and stop situations. If I'm in that job, I need to know that job and not do my job based on opinion and not what I think the job or law is." I totally agree with that. Yes, if you're going to be arresting someone, you better make sure. There's actually one other YouTube channel that I follow, and it's called Audit the Audit, and they kind of they give a little more leniency to people that don't really doing anything. Yeah, no, and Jimmy actually ended up saying, by defunding police, you are opening the door for increased crime. Yeah, that is a quite possibility, and that's why, like, I won't make the blanket statement that all cops are good, just like I won't say all cops are bad. But when they start saying, like, police have discretion, that's the thing. They have discretion. They don't have to give you a ticket. They are choosing to give you a ticket.
So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay!
Okay, so I keep losing you. You're gonna have to probably keep inviting me. So yeah, for those instances, like you watch the audit, and so I also watched that stuff. And when the dude's doing his First Amendment rights by filming like outside FBI agencies and police departments and on the sidewalk and near jails or prisons, and these guys coming out there thinking they know the law, telling them they can't film, and they don't even know their statute or the law on filming or carrying or Second Amendment stuff. They don't even know the laws. They're guessing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. So when you guess at the law, 90% of the time you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, and in terms of that, like, I can understand. Like, you don't hold court in the streets. You don't leave it up to the judge. And like the one example that donor operator says, and you know what, and this kind of convinced me. If a cop says, I want you to drop your pants and smear peanut butter on your balls and jump around, he's like, absolutely, I'll do it, because I'm gonna get fucking paid. I'm gonna
So
get paid.
the biggest thing that I see people doing during the audit stuff is the ID. I don't have to give you my ID because I haven't been arrested or I'm not being detained for a crime.
Yeah.
And it's easier, honestly, if people just don't want to be dumb, it's easier. I know you don't have to by law. And this is the one thing that I say, just do it because it's going to get you out of some stuff and it's not going to cost some stuff. Just let them run your ID. Give them your ID and say, here's my ID. Now you know who I am. Now you know what my vehicle is. And now we can go on without our business, on our business.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get a TIF, and we don't have to go to Facebook Live to say, well, I'm going to show these guys. I don't have to give them my ID. This is the law, blah, blah. No, you're just starting stuff at that point.
Yeah,
okay?
100%.
I understand it's the law. I understand it's the law. But anytime an officer is trying to identify you, help him out to identify you so he doesn't get an edge, so he doesn't put his hand on his taser, so he doesn't have to put his hand on his weapon, that kind of stuff. Open all your windows so they can see what you're doing upon approach of the vehicle, all that kind of stuff. Keep your, that's little things that are going to help you in the long run.
Well, and that's like, the what everyone should be taught. If you are pulled over by police, turn the radio off, shut the car, like roll down your windows, shut the car off, have your wallet, your insurance, like any ID information. They're going to ask for your driver's license and proof of insurance. They're going to. That's the first thing.
Yeah, don't act like a dickhead and say, well, I'm going to show these guys. No, just help them do their job. And then guess what? You're going to be on your way a lot faster. And as long as you're respectful to people, it's not going to intensify.
Yeah. And, like there's the old adage, or I guess the old phrase of, you show me the man and I'll show you a crime. If they really want, I'm sure they could find something to fuck you over with.
Well, here's the thing. You got those one cops too that are just looking to give people tickets.
Yeah.
Or you got the one cops that just want to look at your car because it's cool or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just started something totally different. All they wanted to do was check out your car.
Yeah. Like most cops are car guys. So like if you have a nice car, they're like, hey, what do you do to your car? Like I think in legal terms or in legalese, it's called like a consensual conversation. So you can.
Yeah, they tell people too. Hey, I'm sorry to pull you over like this, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to check out your car, But when they come to the window and you're belligerent to them and you're treating them like garbage, now you're asking for trouble.
100%. Absolutely. And that's the thing too, is that they're starting shit. They're thinking that this cop is going to come over and they're going to give him a hard time. And then in return, they're giving the cop a hard time, which then in return is going to end up bringing out the bad in the cop. And that's what they want though, because they want the cop to get angry, to get him on camera so they can get him into trouble and look at this dick. He was being an asshole, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get you.
So they're trying to.
Absolutely.
They're trying to instigate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and most time when people start recording, it's normally after an incident. Like something's already happened. Like, how many videos do you see of guys or girls in cars? And it's already like the interaction has already escalated to where cops are saying, get out of the car, get out of the car. And they're like, look at me. I'm being pulled over. I'm being arrested. I'm not getting out of the car. I didn't do anything wrong. And then when you see on the cop side, oh no.
Well, the first thing they did was failure to follow instructions.
Yeah. Like people need to know, once you are pulled over, the cop can tell you to do whatever the fuck they want, whatever the frick they want. Like they can.
Well, this is true again, within reason. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have some common sense here. You know what I mean?
Well, but if
you're not going to stand in the middle of the freeway and get out of your car. You're gonna be on a shoulder. You're gonna legit.
Yeah, but they can say, hey, you know what? Out of the car. I am asking you to get out of the car. And one thing donut operator he says is, the 3 steps is ask, tell, make. So they can ask you to get out of the car. Okay, you're not getting out of the car. I am now telling you, get out of the car. You need to exit this vehicle. Next step is I will bust your window, I will open the door, and I will yank you out of this car. So it's, and I think, yeah, just being respectful. Like, I've had cops pull me over. Like, in the semi, I've had cops pull me over.
You can watch multiple YouTube videos of dudes just out there taunting cops to get them to pull them.
Yeah. And it's that shock. It's that, oh my God, look at how bad these cops are. Yeah, but it's kind of an interesting thing. I think if you extended that video maybe 30 seconds further back, I'm sure there'd be a very different optics anyways.
Oh, that's why videos.
Uh-oh. Is that why videos what? On.
Damn those videos. We got you.
Moving them back. Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, yeah, they have a hard job, and I won't. I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, you can't just say one group of whatever are good people. Just like if you said, like, hey, all black people are bad. What? No. All white people are bad. No. That's a pretty big statement to say all of whatever is bad. Now, if you want to say all government is bad, well, okay. I think we're maybe we'll have a little more of an agreement there.
That's going down the rabbit hole again.
That's what we do.
Yeah. No, I mean, as far as defunding, police officers, we all know that there are certain circumstances where police officers need to probably go back and retrain on their subduing tactics.
Yeah.
That would help them in the eyes of people trying to record and do stuff. But I also understand that these subduing tactics keep them safe sometimes, or most of the time.
Well, yeah.
And I don't want anything to happen to a person that's out there protecting and serving for any of us in either one of our countries.
Yeah. Well, and that's like I said, that's kind of where the duality or the dichotomy happens. Is some cops are just overzealous. They're fining people for doing normal things.
So that's why I'm glad that they're wearing body cameras, and I don't know how they are up there with you guys, but ours down here are most of them are learning their body cameras are don't lie.
Well,
and so
if they turn it off,
some of them turn them off or block them. They know how to cover themselves up now. But
yeah.
For the most point, a person can go to court and be like, "Look, this is what was said. This is what was done. Where's the body cam footage? I asked for it to be turned on. I have my phone on." And that's a lot of times because that's why people are recording stuff, within the car, because a lot of times cops don't turn on their cameras when they're supposed to.
Well, I have a dash cam in my semi. It's more for, in the event if someone pulls in front of me in the event of an accident. But yeah, I can turn the thing around. It has audio, it has video. Like, it records how fast I'm going. It has, it records that type of stuff as best as it can.
Yeah.
So that was a decision I made. So in the event that something happens, okay, here I have video proof. So in fact, it makes me more accountable, because now if I'm, the speed limit was 55 and I was doing 65 for 20 or 30 minutes. And that's one thing in the trucking industry that people don't understand. If I am speeding, even though I'm speeding and somebody else causes the accident. So let's say, for 20 minutes, I was going 65 miles per hour. Someone blows an intersection and hits me. I could be found at fault for it, because by law, I should not have been there. If I was following the law, this accident would not have happened.
Yeah.
So, and it makes me more accountable. And then, it gives me more safety in the event of an accident or, in a certain situation.
So I got a real question.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole defunding thing, when we talk about defunding the police, when we talk about that, who up in Canada, in your area, are calling for the defund?
So here, I actually have an article, oddly enough, pulled up for this exactly. So it's another one from CTV News, and it says 1 year after George Floyd's death, where does defund the police stand in Canada? So a year after it, Julius Haig, a sociology and criminology professor at the University of Toronto, told CTV that no Canadian cities have successfully defunded their police force to date. However, she says there continues to be some momentum to potentially do in certain regions. She says many of our city councils have debated measures to defund the police, but we haven't actually seen any substantial cuts. Okay, so in this article, it continues on with Floyd, who was black, died on May 25th, 2020 in Minneapolis after then police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck, pinning him to the ground for about 9.5 minutes. Chauvin, who was white, was convicted of murder and faces sentencing. So, what?
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if Floyd was black and the cop was white? Why should that matter? If something shady was done, it shouldn't matter the color of somebody's skin. If something bad had happened, I don't care if it's a black guy, if it's a white guy, if it's a purple guy. I don't care. The action was wrong. That's the end of it. Why does it have to be in an article, blank is this color, blank is that color? Who the fuck gives a shit? It doesn't matter. That's not the point. Why are you making race a point?
So when you bring up a topic like defund the police, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it causes a stir.
Mm-hmm.
And it causes communities to start looking in a direction for things to change. Now, understanding that George Floyd wasn't the only incident with police. They had shootings of Breonna Taylor. They had, shootings of other black individuals or people of color. And they're just trying to say that police officers are just willy-nilly out there like the Wild West doing what they want.
Which is
now, this is to a point that the media will show you. Oh, the media tells you that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand that there's tens of thousands of incidents that happen that police are involved in, and they're showing you under 1% of them.
Oh yeah, like there was a statistic and that I was looking up, and it was like, okay, here, I don't know if I asked you this, Jimmy, but how many unarmed black men died in 2019? I'll ask you this too, Kim. How many black guys do you think in the United States? No cheating.
Oh, I'm just supposed to guess.
You said unarmed?
Unarmed black men were shot and killed.
None.
Hold on.
None?
Okay, that's your answer. Unarmed black men were shot in when?
2019.
2019.
I'm going with none.
I'm going to go with...
whatever Google tells you?
No, I'm not good. He can see me. I can't cheat right now. I'm going to say a handful.
What's a handful? Like 5?
I'll say 5 or under.
Okay. Well, you guys are actually mute yourself.
It's not my name.
I think it was actually somewhere between 12 and up as high as, I think, 24 in all of 2019.
And where was the locations of that at?
All of the United States, where this whole movement started. So it was significantly low. In terms of...
regardless of what year, I still think that's too many people that were unarmed and shot.
Well, and
now,
what?
But that's, of course, I wasn't there at the situation, so I don't know what was going on. And I don't care if they were white, black, or other. Shooting an unarmed individual, there has to be a reason.
Well, and they were saying who's the guy that was beating the shit out of his wife? Was it Rashard Brooks? The guy that had the knife underneath his floorboards and he was trying to get it so he could, stab the cops and kill him. You guys remember that story? Okay, so I don't remember the name. Maybe it wasn't Richard Brooks. It might have been someone else. I don't know. They all just kind of blend together at this point. But so this guy, the female, the woman, they were in a relationship. 13. Okay, so it was actually 13 unarmed black men were killed in 2019. And what is that?
This is on USA Today.
Okay. So this male and this female had a relationship and they had kids together. Well, she had put a restraining order on him because he was beating the shit out of her. So she went through the proper channels to try and keep this guy away from her. He came back, tried to kidnap the kids. So they had the kids in the back of the car, and presumably he had assaulted her, and then he was returning to the vehicle where he had abducted these kids. Cops arrived. This lady phoned the police, and the cops arrived, and he started struggling, and he was in the driver's side door, and they seen him reaching for something, and they were saying, "Don't stop reaching, and they ended up shooting him in the back. And then remember, he was paralyzed. I remember Kamala Harris was saying this guy was a hero. This woman beater, this guy that beat the shit out of his wife, abducted his kids, put them in danger, and then had the audacity to try and stab cops. And you have the vice president of the United States of America saying this man is a hero. What? Like,
I don't even want to go into that one.
Like that type of stuff.
I need my tinfoil hat on if I go into that one.
What, Kim?
Sorry, I'm just I decided to look up more stats. This is the funny thing is I had looked up, just out of curiosity, the number of unarmed white men killed in 2019.
Significantly
The funny
higher.
thing is, nay, you're not going to find that. But I did find a graph that shows from 2017 to 2021 by race how many people were shot to death by the police. In the least is other, and then there's unknown. Then there's Hispanics, sorry. So other, then it goes to Hispanics, which is upward. Okay, so other was a maximum of 44. This is again between 2017 to 2021 as of now. So the highest was in 2017, which was in the other, which was 44. Hispanics was the second highest. That one, the highest one was 179, again in 2017. Unknown, the highest was 204 in 2018. Black was 241 in 2020 was the highest. And white was 457, tying in 2017 and in 2020.
So that is just in terms of police involved shootings, right?
Yeah. So
number of
there's another
people
article
shot
I'm reading
to
right
death
now that
by
says that
police.
the last 5 years, unarmed shootings, the blacks have three. It says people of color have been shot 3 times more than white folks for being unarmed and being shot by police.
Okay.
Now, that's not saying a whole lot over 5 years. And again, I don't know all the situations.
Yeah, and
so I can't put it into context on the amount of people that is.
Well, and okay, so I guess, well, in terms of Canada, so we haven't defunded the police. I know New York passed it, Minneapolis passed it. They passed to defund the police. I think New York cut like $1 billion from their police budget.
Yeah, but they put it somewhere else within the budget, within the police budget. They just didn't tell you that.
Well, and in terms of Minneapolis, when they voted to defund the police, they ended up having to, I think they cut $3 million to the police force. I think it was $3 million, but then they ended up having to spend, I think it was $32 million in order to do a police recruitment drive, because they were you had police officers quitting en masse. Think of Seattle. Think of Portland. Think of all the cops that had left already. So this is kind of my thought. The police that were getting defunded, the ones that were getting roasted, that were getting sent to the wolves, or thrown to the wolves. I guess that's how the saying goes. I don't know. They were being hurled projectile towards canine unit.
They were just being tossed like rag dolls.
Well, but those guys are going to say, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't have the support of the community that I'm serving. I don't have the support of the the politicians and my chief, like the people that I'm following the laws that they are dictating. And, so those guys are going to leave. Then what do you have? You have the guys that will do anything and everything because it's a paycheck.
Well, I know in May of this year, the governor for Texas signed a bill that would prevent cities from defunding the police in Texas.
Well, and look at the crime rates that have gone up in those cities, like New York. Crime has been the highest it's been in probably 20 or 30 years.
Yeah,
it's like by like 800%. I think violent crimes have gone up.
Well, you don't even. I mean, look at Chicago. If you want to talk about a place that needs police literally on every block, and they need to literally. You might as well have the National Guard out.
Yeah, well, that's what they call it.
It's so stupid that the sub-societies of America are, the gangs are stupid.
Well, and if you look at like Chicago or I guess the state, like Illinois State, has some of the hardest and some of the most strict gun laws, I think.
Right. So again, we're going to get into why are you defunding the police when the police are trying to help, but you have a lot of people of color killing them, their own people.
The black on and no one speaks about this. And in order to solve an issue, you need to talk about the problem. Black on black crime, like minority on minority crime, is significantly higher. More black people in black communities are killing black men way higher than they're killing others, like and white Asian. Well, but now there's a lot of Asian hate crime is going on. Like that's a big thing where people are just stomping the shit out of Asian people.
Yeah, because they started COVID apparently. That's the thing is you see so much of that going on now for those exact reasons. Like someone sees someone from China and right away they start hating on them. It doesn't matter what race the other people are. They see a Chinese person and they go and attack them because, well, that individual started COVID, so got to kill him.
Maybe to an extent. I don't know if that really hit. I'm sure there are some dumb motherfuckers that do that type of stuff. But I don't know if but this has been a problem for years.
Yes, but that part was more on the rise since COVID hit. You hear a lot more about Chinese people who are getting attacked because people are yelling at them that they started COVID. That's
here's the thing on that too. So when you have an agenda to push, you're going to push out certain media topics to certain communities, and it's going to cause an effect. And so you have, just like you said, the Asian community in fear because people are targeting them. Even black folks were targeting them. They got them on camera targeting them, hitting them from behind and all that. It's cowardice. But you have, they say a lot of black on black crime or people of color, committing crimes in their own communities are based on how absent fathers are in prison. So that way of life, and I'll tell the truth. Most males of color are very strong, opinionated people.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But they also have a lot of aggression because they're upset about the situation that they're living in, and then they have to be upset because that's the lifestyle they have to live, and then they have to be upset because they have to look wrong in front of the other black men or men of color, and so now you're putting a young generation and even more generations into that loophole where I got to show my ass because I gotta make sure cuz ain't gonna hurt me and come back in my family and shoot me up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
So
yeah,
that's a whole lifestyle.
it's terrifying. And and like those are the types of conversations. Like, if you really want to help those communities, you just don't throw more money at it. Like, in those communities, I remember seeing, I think it was some like ridiculous amount. It was something like 86% in minority communities wanted either the police to stay or more police, because they're trying to help their community. And I think, like, in terms of government, like, all they kind of do is just, well, if we just throw more money at the problem, it'll fix it. No, you need to stop the welfare state. You have to stop.
You got to stop welfare by, you got to do, like they said, you got to do drug checks. You got to make sure that your stamps or your card that you get for welfare is not tradable to any other person for cash.
Yeah.
Because they do that. They sell their food stamps for cash, so they can buy cigarettes and do whatever. You know what I mean? And so that's how people make money. They sell their food stamps.
Well, and
we need to we need to make a way so they can't do that at all. Period.
Well, and it's and if you look at those communities, like, especially like all the riots that were happening with the Black Lives Matter and Antifa, it was affecting those communities. Like, I remember seeing videos of guys like shop owners, like, I'll bring it up in a little bit, but there were some shop owners and they're saying, why are you here? Why are you destroying my business? Like, this is a black guy saying, why are you destroying my business? There was a firefighter, served his community for 30 years, opened up a bar,
yep.
And Black Lives Matter and Antifa came in and they burned it down. This guy.
Well, that's because that's the agenda, that they don't care who you are. They just want to destroy businesses to show for media and to show that they can do it, just like they did Walmarts and all that other stuff. And so when you want to put out a message or you're trying to push an agenda, so the biggest agenda that I can see right now are people fighting for reparations for being descendants of slavery. Yeah. And so to push those those funds to make the get what you want, what you do is you say, well, the police are treating the black community worse than anybody else, and this is why we need the money, because we can't do anything because all the cops are killing us.
Yeah.
So that message comes away that way, and then the media spins it even harder. And then they get cut videos of the police officers that show them doing techniques or whatever on everything wrong and why they're doing stuff, and it gets out of hand.
Well,
but that pushes the agenda, though. It pushes the agenda.
Well, and so like, you know what? I'm for equal rights. I'm for helping people, but. In order, like, and some of the rhetoric and the ideology that has been pushed in saying that we need to have segregated communities, blacks don't mix with whites, and all this type, like,
you know what I say to that? If we got rid of the
civil rights,
the whole black white thing, if we got rid of the whole black white thing, and I'm not white, I might be a Caucasian male, but my race, you know what it is? It's human.
Yeah. And I think,
you know what? And as soon as you stop calling people by their color, regardless if they're white, black, or whatever, no, you don't do that. You don't do it anymore. You say, okay, you're a human. If you were born in America, guess what you are?
American.
You're American.
Yeah.
If you were the first generation from any country to come over and you got nationalized or you got your citizen, like, okay, we'll talk to people of color. Well, you're Haitian American, you're Somali American.
Yep.
You don't have to be African American to be black. You could be a white African American.
Elon Musk.
And people don't even understand that.
Elon Musk is from Africa.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying.
American.
So if you're telling me that I had anything to do with slavery, which I didn't, and my family never did either.
No, yeah, same.
So what I'm saying is you have a whole culture out there that, well, I'm African American. When you sign a document, no, you're not. You're American. You weren't born in Africa. Only the first generation gets that title. You know
Well,
what I mean? So you can't claim that. And that's another thing that's wrong. If you're born in America, you're not Mexican American. You're just American.
yeah, and I think that type of rhetoric really starts to, like, it feeds into rage. I think it feeds into people being more and more angry. Because if you are told from the day you were born to where you are now, you will never get somewhere because of this race or because
Well,
of.
you know, I had that same conversation with my spouse, right?
Oh, really?
And I tried to explain to her that, you know, different parts of the country have different beliefs, unfortunately.
Yeah, California.
And I told her, I said, if you get a 5-year-old or a toddler or a brand new baby, and you raise that baby up and you put that baby, and you take that baby hunting with you every day. You know, every time you go hunting and fishing, you take that baby with you. It grows up to be a young man or young girl. That individual adolescent goes up until his 20s, and all they ever known was survival by eating, you know, wild game or whatever.
Yeah.
Guess what? That person is always going to believe that hunting is the best thing since sliced cheese it provides for the family.
Yeah.
Or if you get the one toddler and they find yourself in the grocery store, never going outdoors for anything, doing, you know, whatever, and you're at the Piggly Wiggly, or you're at the Walmart, or you're at the Kroger's, and you've never seen the woods in a day in your life, you're going to believe when your life comes up that I can only get groceries from the store.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, that goes for every bit of content. So if you grew up with family members saying such names of people, that's what you're going to believe in your life. And so that's the kind of stuff that people have got to realize, and it's got to change. And so if you grow up in a community that's F the police, guess what your kids are going to say?
Exactly.
100%.
And so and that's where we got to get away from, and understanding that these kids don't understand that the music industry is entertainment. They get paid to act a certain way, and they get paid to act, you know, gangster or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some out there that are legit, but most of them, they're college graduates. You know what I mean? They know how to, they're playing the game and they're getting paid to act a certain way. What they don't understand are these communities or these young kids are following what they say, and it's making their lives terrible because they're trying to play that game and try to be cool.
Yeah, you have so many rappers that are out there that will, okay, well, you know, I live like this and I lived in the hood and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then you find out after the fact that no, they actually went to a really well school. They grew up in a really good neighborhood. Like, sorry, your life wasn't all hard and challenging and stuff.
People all tatted up and, you know, they're playing the game because that's their style. And they're getting paid millions and billions of bucks. Look at Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, he got a psychology degree.
Really? I didn't even know that.
There's a lot of stuff out there that people don't realize. If they just look, if they're playing the game, they're hustling, they're making their money, but they're making their money off people that are getting impacted, that are trying to live that way of life, that should not even be thinking that way. You know, but that's the way entertainment works. Movies, video games, music. That's why the church and all that other stuff tried to keep that stuff out, because of that influence.
Yeah.
Because influence is everything in this world. I can, if you live next to me and I said, hey, I'll let you cut my grass as a young kid and I'll pay you $20. You know, you're going to be like, well, shit, that's $20 a week I can get for cutting the grass. I'll cut that grass. You start a kid working for money.
Yeah.
But then you tell them, hey, you can't cut my grass until your grass is done. Yeah. You make sure your grass is cut before you come to my house and cut my grass. Take care of home first before you come to me.
Yeah. Well, and
people don't teach that.
Yeah, and I think when people are grown up in a culture of you cannot succeed, if you get knocked down, it's somebody else's fault. It's not your fault you fell down. It's somebody else's. And so you end up creating a world of victims, a culture of victimhood.
Right. And so right now we're creating the victims. They're called police officers. Because that's what we want. That's the fix all, right? Let's defund the police because that's the major problem. Yeah, and it's actually not.
Yeah. How about stop stealing? And like I'll bring it back to the Black Lives Matter, and you know what, I'll say they do have some good points. There was one video, and I will praise it. And
well, isn't Black Lives Matter and Antifa funded by George Soros?
That's what the rumors that I've heard. I haven't been able to confirm it, but
neither can confirm or deny.
Yeah. But there was one video of some Antifa kid had a hammer, and they were smashing up like a part of a curb, and they were going to throw it at cops. And the people that were protesting, actual protesting, not quote unquote protesting when it's actually called rioting. When stuff starts burning, it's no longer a protest. That is called a riot. Okay. But so this guy start smashing up parts of the curb, and the people that were protesting grabbed him, and they said, "No, don't do this, don't do this," and they ended up handing him over to the cops. And I applauded that. I have no problem with people protesting and getting upset with their government. Good, you should. I think everyone should question their government. I think that's the healthiest thing you could do, is ask, why are you doing this? Just simply, whether you agree with it or not, why are you doing this? Why is government trying to do this? But anyways, I think when you have to, like, in order for police, or I guess this type of movement to defund the police, like there are some people that have said, it was the title of a news article, do we mean abolish the police? Yes. We mean absolute abolition of the police force. So that is very different than defunding the police. But
oh, absolutely.
Why go into a CVS and burn it down, or go down to a Walgreens, burn it down, yeah, I'm sure that grocery store, guess what you end up doing? CVS, how many CVS stores has closed? It's something like 57 CVS stores have closed in like those major cities in like New York and such. They've shut their business down.
Here's the other thing that you got to do is communication is a big problem with these so-called well, they are the rioters and stuff like that. These people that are supposed to be protesting. When like the organizer comes out and says, "Hey, I need you guys to do a peaceful protest at such and such, such and such," that message gets passed on to another person that has a different understanding of what was said, or a different interpretation with the wink, and decides to say, "Hey, we're going to put out this information now. We're going to say, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to cause a little havoc if things get out of hand." And the next thing you hear, that message gets passed to somebody, well, we're just going to cause havoc. This is not going to be peaceful at all. And then all of a sudden riots happen. So you have a lot, I think, as miscommunication as well. But also I do that there's a lot of good communication, meaning that they're very organized and they will do some damage when they're told to.
Well, and I think one thing, well, I guess a couple of things that people don't really understand is, so I don't know if you remember, but I think was it in Seattle when they were trying to burn down that courthouse for days and days and days and days and days?
It was either Oregon or Seattle. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was either Oregon or Washington.
One of those. But so what did they have? They had a line. What was it? Mothers for BLM or something like that. That they were the front of the line. But behind them, what did they have? They had people throwing bricks, throwing water bottles, throwing cans, bricks, setting things on fire.
More bricks.
Yeah, more bricks. And so when the police go in to try and break this up, well, what is the first line? What is the optics that you see? Well, these cops are going after peaceful protesters. That's what they're doing. Except, no, the camera doesn't show the buildings on fire behind them. So I think that's, in terms of optics, yeah, the cops look like the best.
Or you're not seeing the bricks hitting the rioting shields and the riot master, the cops in the head.
Yeah. What was it? Something like 500 or 800 cops were injured in those riots. 800 police officers were hurt. Over $2 billion in damage. That's just an insurance claim. That's just insurance. That's when insurance capped out, was $2 billion. to get what message out? Cops are killing people. During those riots, more black people died from those riots, directly from those riots, than cops have killed in 2019 altogether.
Hold on. So, which Black Lives was it that mattered? Was it the ones that decided, that people ended up killing because of all their rioting and their starting fires and stuff like that? And I remember that one video that I had seen. She was a black woman and she was yelling and she's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I am black. And you guys just trashed my place. Like, what Black Lives Matter? And that's exactly it. Like, you have a bunch of black people who died through all these rioting, not as results from the cops, results from the actual rioting. And you're literally, they're protesting Black Lives Matter.
Unfortunately, they're the wrong black people, because it's the white upper class, middle class, the people that have gone to universities that have kind of, absorbed this certain ideology where they hate themselves because they hate black people in a very crass way. But it's those types of people. And I will bring this up, and I've noted it, and I will not forget this. Remember David Dorn. Don't ever forget that officer that served his community and was shot and killed for a fucking TV.
Oh, that guy. That was heartbreaking. That was horrible.
A former police chief or something like that?
I think he was.
I know there was a police chief or a police officer that just retired after like 30 years or something.
No, this officer
guy
was shot. Yeah, he was shot and killed. He was defending his friend's store, and he got shot and killed for a TV. And the guy died with someone saying, "Hang in there, cuz, hang in there." That's how this guy died, serving his community, was by a bunch of spineless fucking thugs that needed some sweet vans or needed a new TV. That's the type of shit that actually really fucking pisses me off. It's that type of stuff, because they're okay. They're okay to burn down Chase Bank, CVS.
No, they get that. It's okay because it's on Grand Theft Auto, so they can do it. It's great. They're just playing a game.
And they're justified. That's the thing that fucking makes me so mad. They're justified. They do this stuff. They have political factions. They have communities. They have, money funneling in to support this type of stuff. For what? To create division. Don't forget, this all started by Occupy Wall Street, when people were saying, we are getting screwed by the banks. We are getting screwed by the stock market. We are losing, while these people in government, in banks, in these high paying institutions, they're getting rich off the hog while we're sitting here struggling. And
so the next time we do a talk, let's do a financial one so we can show people how to make money.
We legally cannot give financial advice.
No, we won't. We'll just be talking about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it, but nothing ever constitutes as financial advice. This is all opinion and satire. But that's when it started. I remember seeing a picture, and it was during Occupy Wall Street, and it was like two big bankers, and they said, "Oh, these people seem really mad," and then the other guy says, "Oh, just wait till we introduce identity politics." That's what it's become. I wish I was as smart or as dumb as the people that soak this stuff up, because we're all fighting the same machine. That's what we're doing. Stock markets are rigged. Hedge funds. Remember, don't forget the GameStop fucking debacle, where they were trying to screw over a company. And look at the intelligence of the internet. I will forever be in awe of. The amount of stuff the internet finds out is mind-boggling. Like, if people don't remember, there was recently, I could bring a couple examples, but I'll bring up one. So there was he was yelling at Tucker Carlson in a in a fishing store. So Tucker Carlson from Fox, he was in this fishing store, and someone came up and started yelling at him. Within minutes, they found out who this guy was and how he was tied to the FBI. Within minutes, they found this stuff out.
How?
Fucking a bunch of autist people. I don't know. I'm in awe of it. It is the collective hive mind of the internet is crazy. But there was another one. If people remember the Berkeley University, all the riots that were happening there. If people don't remember the what was it called? The Berkeley bike lock basher. I think that's what they called him. They were able. So this guy wore a mask. He had the Black Lives Matter thing, wearing all black, wearing a hood, sunglasses, and covered his face. This guy, he would take a bike lock and he was beating people with it. They found him out within hours who this guy was. They found his Facebook page. They found out where he worked. They found out all this information within hours. And the guy's face was covered. They would take pictures and they would take people's photos and reconstruct to see if it matched the guy's face. I'll show you it. Internet Historian did a video on it. Internet Historian is fantastic. He is so fucking funny. But the hive mind of the internet, I will forever be in awe of it. Uh-oh, did we lose Jimmy again? Here, hold on. But all right. Are you alive now?
Okay.
Okay. But like people, I think people are really waking up to it. And to an extent, I do support like Black Lives Matter and Antifa of saying, hey, this system is rigged and we're getting screwed. I agree. But I don't think white people are screwing over the black. No. It's the people that are in power, that have taken more power, have sucked any wealth. Remember, some private mortgages where people were buying mortgages that were absolutely dog shit. Banks were betting on people failing. Banks were colluding. That's what caused the 2008 collapse, where banks were bundling shitty mortgages, shitty, this stuff together. And then they would bet on people failing. And they did it over and over and over and over. And then, well, what happened? The big housing collapse, mass foreclosures. Banks needed to be bailed out because they were fucking around with people's lives. And government bailed them out. So now what? They can go full steam ahead now. They're beholden to no one. Government's going to bail us out. Chase Bank, JP Morgan, all these big banks. They all got bailed out by screwing over little guys. People that had no business affording the mortgages they had. And they were absolutely screwed.
That makes me really angry.
Damn it, did we lose Jimmy again?
No, I was listening.
Oh. He almost disconnected you there.
That's like, I'm against that. Fractional banking is bullshit. Please, anyone look up fractional banking. It will blow your mind. The Ponzi scheme that is. Like, that should be
criminal. Banking in general with compound interest is a joke.
Well, fractional banking. I'm a big fan.
That's just like the stock market. The stock market takes your money that you invest, and they make more money on your stuff because they're investing your money to make more money for them, and then only giving you a marginal fraction of a return.
Yeah, it's such a Ponzi scheme. Like, people, and that's the thing. People get so greedy. Like, at what point is enough money enough? Like, what? 20 million, 100 million, a billion? Like, dude, if you have $1 billion, you have nothing to worry about. you have more money than God. $1 billion.
This is not true. This is not true.
Well,
Jeffrey Epstein had billions.
That's true, but he also had a lot of dirt on a lot of powerful people. So
He still had billions.
When
Yeah.
it's enough is when they have all the money. They want it all. They are greedy fucks that want
It's not that
everything.
they want it all; is they want control of it all.
and
This is one. That's a whole other issue. This is off the subject of us defunding the police. But yes, that is why decentralized currency and cryptocurrency is a big deal right now, because the governments are trying to take it and make it a centralized currency instead of decentralized. So they can have control over it.
And that's the funny thing is, like in terms of the US, like I love that idea. I really love the idea that each individual state has its own laws, and it's just part of this union. Like the EU is what the US is supposed to be. It's supposed to be individual countries, Germany, Italy, yada 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 yada. Not the UK anymore.
I'm surprised Canada's not using the euro.
Well, no, we're going to use the new currency that the US is going to come out with, because they're going to have to cancel their money.
I figured it was going to be like the yen or something.
The US isn't canceling their money.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Canada went over to the yen with how much foreign investment that Canada has. Absolutely. But I guess to kind of get back on, I guess you know what? Fuck it. It's conversation. We got a lot of the defund the police, and this is all kind of.
So defund the police. I mean, the defund the police also come from the BLM activists, to defund the police and all that stuff. And there was a political scientist that said BLM was the curriculum was destructive to their own black communities.
100% it was. 100%. Like I said, you seen that firefighter. He was trying to build
and part of that curriculum was the principle, but no one of their goals is zero tolerance for discipline. So no one would get disciplined if they did something wrong or something like that. I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
All right, I'm gonna bring up a conspiracy theory. Okay, you guys ready for this one?
Oh, are we gonna have to go back to the other episode?
I'd have to. So, I think the police or whoever was in charge of these, like the BLM riots.
I got my hat on. Go ahead.
Okay. Why would they just leave police cars there? Why would they leave pallets of bricks places? And there was the argument of, oh, they're doing renovations, they're building, they're doing this and that.
So that wasn't a conspiracy theory, by the way. So there was a local ad that was placed for $5.75 an hour. They were looking for actors to be protesters, and I don't remember where it was, which newspaper it was in, but there was an ad, and my buddy that I was at work with showed it to me. I was like, oh my gosh, they were looking for actors to be protesters, and that they would provide all the needs or necessary things that they would need. All they had to do was show up in certain clothing.
Yeah, isn't that what, your mind just blow up?
What the fuck? Like, seriously. Like, things are so corrupt and just twisted and just, what the fuck?
There was a video. Well, and like this has been done before, and it's been proven. The Black Bloc, the agent provocateurs, where cops would dress as the protesters and would start smashing things. And then, well, it gives cops the justification to bust up that protest. They did this at the G20 summit in Toronto. They did that. They noticed guys were wearing military-style boots, and cops would leave police cars. They would abandon them. They wouldn't pull them back. They wouldn't, go with the police line. They would leave the cars there, knowing that that car is going to get lit on fire, and then it gives a reason for the police to come in and bust up this protest. So you would see cops. There was some videos that came out of some of those, the G20 stuff, where they were saying, this guy's a cop. He's a cop. He's not with us. He's not one of us. He's a cop. And this guy books it. He runs. He runs in. There were times where they would run into the police line, and the police would split up, let that guy in, and then reform the line. And you would see the guy in back. And I know that there are the tactics of the police will swarm, like the police line will move forward, or they'll have guys come from behind, pick up people, and then pull them back behind the police line. I know that that's a normal tactic, but it happened the other way. People would start smashing things, they would run through the police line, and then they'd be set free. Or you'd find clothes, being thrown all over the place of people in these uniforms. So, and it's not a conspiracy theory. You've seen it happen time and time and time again. What?
That is absolutely, just with what you're talking about, absolutely so shady and annoying. But no, wow, Jimmy sent this picture here. Said actors needed Phoenix Convention Center. Actors help needed for event tomorrow from 2 to 11, $15 an hour. Duties include protest activities and holding signs that are anti-Trump. Minorities welcome and needed. Looking to fill 500 spots. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I am dropping so many F-bombs right now, but literally that's all that can come out of my mouth right now. Like, this is insane.
Well, and this is the type of stuff that they do. It's all an act. That's the thing.
This is why you don't watch the news, because all they're doing is feeding their agendas.
Well,
I can't watch the news. I can't watch the fake news shit.
Well, what was it? CNN, where they had the guy. He was reporting from in front of a burning building and saying mostly peaceful protest. Buildings were on fire. Yeah. Like what? Like like how can people see that and say, oh yeah, it's mostly peaceful? Dude, your backdrop is on fire.
It's mostly peaceful. The part behind me, this isn't. So where I'm standing, you don't want to be. But everywhere else, super peaceful. Just ignore everything else.
Well, and there were tons of videos of reporters trying to talk with people, and they would end up getting chased out. The news was getting chased out. So, like, and that's the thing. I understand police have a hard job. But on the other side, they do shady shit like that. Like the G20 summits where, the Black Bloc were coming in and doing this type of stuff. So, I don't know. I on one side, you know what? Yeah, maybe just defund them completely and have community police. Maybe just have private police for community. Maybe that's the move.
What? Honestly, if I was a police officer right now and somebody, like, with all these people who are attacking at the police and they're crying defund the police and all this other jazz, I think honestly at this point I would put my hands up and be like, all right, have fun. I'm out. You guys don't think you need the police? All right, have fun.
I was grabbing here, but some have. There's been some communities and there's been some officers that have said, like, hey, we're not doing this. Or, they've stepped, like I said, Minneapolis, they lost tons of cops and they had to do a police recruitment drive.
Would want to be a cop right now. Like, honestly, like, most people want to be a cop because they want to make a difference and they want to help protect their community. Where right now, I wouldn't want to be a cop. I absolutely would not want to be a cop.
No, it's I don't know. It's a pretty divided world that we're living in, and so there was one book that ended up coming out, and it's called In Defense of Looting, and it's for payments of reparations that we're entitled to this type of stuff. So in the past months of demonstrations for Black Lives, there has been a lot of condemnation of looting, whether it was New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Oh, don't forget about Andrew Cuomo and, him killing a fuck ton of old people, or, him getting a little too feely with some of his people. Look it up. We can talk about that on another episode. But saying that stealing purses and sneakers from high-end stores in Manhattan was inexcusable. Or St. Paul, Minnesota Mayor Melvin Carter saying looters were destroying our community. But writer Vicky Osterweel, in defense of looting, came out on Tuesday. Osterweel is a self-described writer, editor, and agitator who has been writing about participating in protests for years. And her books arrived at the continued protests have emerged as a bitter dividing point in the presidential race. So when she finished it back in April, she wrote, "A new energy of resistance is building across the country. Now, as protests and riots continue to grip cities, she stakes out a provocative position that looting is a powerful tool to bring about real, lasting change in society."
I'm sorry, what? Looting?
Yeah,
will bring change.
The rioters who smash windows and take items from stores, she claims, are engaging in a powerful tactic that questions the justice of law and order and the distribution of property and wealth in an unequal society.
I'm sorry, what kind of dumbass wrote this?
One of those guilty white supremacists.
Are you forking kidding me?
Look up. I'll see if I can find it. Cvs Stores Closing. There, like I said, there was something like 50 something stores in, I believe it was in New York alone, have closed because of they're being broken into, because now look, like if you look in like California, well, they've passed laws that they will not charge people. Police will not attend a call if someone steals, I think it's like $900 worth of stuff. Police will not attend. So people have just been heyday, just clearing out shelves. There's videos of the dude is on a fucking bike. He runs into a store on a bike and he just goes, starts throwing stuff into garbage bags. And there's 2 security guards watching him, and they're just recording it because they can't do anything. So you want to talk about defunding the police? You want to talk about taking away people's rights to own property? Okay, well, when that store closes and that place turns into a shithole, into everyone complains about food deserts. What do you think's going to happen here? What do you think's going to happen? You're only going to make the situation worse. You're only going to increase it. So yeah, you know what? Go for it. Loot, steal, and then when the businesses leave, well, then fuck yourself.
Right? 100%.
That it's so mind-boggling. And like I said, that's the dichotomy, the double-edged sword here. Yes, we need police. Absolutely, we need police. But we don't need shitty cops that do dirty tactics to undermine a constitutional right in Canada and in the US. At least in the US, they don't have Section 1. And you know what? I'll bring this up again because Section 1 of Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada.
Should have seen his face there, guys. It was awesome.
Section 1 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom is the section that confirms that the rights of the listed charter are guaranteed. But the section, also known as a reasonable limits clause or limitations clause, as it legally allows government to limit an individual's charter rights. In the States, they don't have a caveat of you have these rights, but in the States, you have the right to peaceably assemble, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. But, just upend it all. Get rid of the cops. I don't know. Maybe that's the move. Like I said, just get rid of all the cops and have community polices.
No, thank you. Police. No, thank you. Like, as much as, I find them, frustrating at times when you call them and it takes them hours and hours to get there, and the fact that there are some shitty cops out there. No, thank you. Because if you don't have police, the amount of crime that will go up, people will just go freaking crazy. Like, as it is, you look at the... What?
It'll be The Purge.
100%. I love those movies, but it's one of those movies that I'm like, I could 100% see this happening sometime in the future. 100%. But No, that's not the answer. Defund the police, get rid of the police. No, it's absolutely not the answer. That would cause so much more issues than people realize.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, Jimmy, did we lose you again? Say nothing if we lost you.
Right?
Oh,
Oh, yay! Oh, we almost booted you again.
you know, and
Nope, I don't want to interrupt. I can't interrupt the rant. You know what I'm saying?
well, and that's yeah. Like I don't know, maybe that's the move. Like you know, you just have your community police, and they don't work with other police forces. Like I said before, the funny thing when Chaz Chop, that stupid fucking LARPing bullshit happened, what was the first thing they did? They
Made
built a wall.
police.
They built a wall and they made police. In fact, the police there were more corrupt than the police that they were fighting against, because they had so many unarmed shootings. They had more crime in that like 8 or 6 block area than I think that section has seen in months, if not years. Within, what was it, a month or a month and a half that place was operating, whatever it was. No, it was like 3 months.
Honestly, still blows my mind that even happened. That the mayor or the governor or whoever the fuck it is actually allowed this to happen.
Well, and there was oh, what was it, the mayor that was saying that, oh, it's going to be a summer of love until I think it was one city councilor told like Black Lives Matter and Antifa to go to the mayor's house, and after that it was like I think it was within 2 days she's like, okay, pack it up, get out, you know, this is done. Like,
Just funny though. But see, then it was okay, well now it affects me, so now I'm going to step in and do something. Where yeah, they get their little place, they bring in their own police, they build their wall, but then what? People are suffering, they need help, and then they won't let paramedics and stuff like that in to save them, and they let people die. And you're like, really? Summer of love? But then, no, nay, that's okay. But as soon as it affects me, okay, now we need to stop this.
I love the hypocrites.
well, there what was the
I love the hypocrites that say defund the police, but then they have like armed security around them.
oh, there was one that came out well, I guess actually one other thing they did, they started taxing people. That
Are you kidding me?
they started extorting people for money. They built a wall, which Trump was pushing for. They built a police force, which they were fighting against, and they started taxing people. So you know,
Like their little summer of love was like the most little corrupt little area ever. Like you know what that reminds me of? Oh, what is that movie? Mad Max. I don't know, just something about that reminds me of that. Like just all these freaking misfits.
hold on, I'm gonna props from Chaz. You want to see some funny fucking videos? Look at these bozos. Look at these absolute morons. Okay, hold on.
You
This
meant
one,
crops, like where you would plant food. What the hell is that?
look at these idiots. They put cardboard down and then they put soil on top of it. Then they put plants in planters on top of the dirt. Look,
Hold on, go back to that picture. He looks so proud. He's like, look at my planter on cardboard.
like, are you kidding me? Look at this. There you go. The garden is for Black and Indigenous folks and their plant allies. See, this is the type. Like, do you remember within 2 days, FEMA had to come in there and give them food because it was like a humanitarian crisis.
This is like literally it's literally a bunch of people who have mental illnesses. Like they're all just grouping together and hey guys, let's have fun. Like they act like a bunch of freaking children. Like grown children with mental illness. And I'm not saying anything bad about people who have mental illness. I do myself. So, woo. But I mean, come the hell on.
You know, to be fair, that's harmful against people that actually have a mental illness to lump it in with these bozos. Like someone even made a meme where they had like the civilization, like food and work. They
It
yeah.
can't even. This is some messed up shit, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, here's a sign. No cops, no problem. Well, considering they had one of their first incidences was they shot and killed 2 unarmed black men. That was one of the They shot up a Jeep of two teenagers driving around in a Jeep. They shot it up and killed them. And then what they did, so when they asked the cops to, come and investigate, and the cops were finally come to investigate, the cops couldn't do anything because they stole the kids' wallets. They were all over the crime scene. So it was a contaminated crime scene. They couldn't do anything when the cops finally got in to investigate it. So they contaminated a crime scene. They shot and killed unarmed black men, which apparently is what they were fighting against. It's,
They were not, that's not what they were fighting against. They literally just wanted to play house or play pretend or whatever. They were done adulting, decided that they were just going to play house, play their little forts and stuff like that, and act like a bunch of children. And people are going to die, and oh well, whoops, my bad.
Here's some more. Yeah. Plants and planters. Like, hey, just so everyone is fully aware, plants, like the grass that you put the cardboard on top of, and I know this is old, but for anyone that doesn't know, all you have to do is remove the grass, and underneath there is dirt.
Wait, what? So, that's how you plant things. You don't just put cardboard on top of the grass and then put soil on top of the cardboard and then put planters on top of the soil. Not your seeds in the soil, but you just put planters on top. You can actually just dig into the grass. You can do that. That's a thing.
This is such a see, and here's another I guess the other point. So you remember in New York, what was de Blasio, Bill de Blasio, at Trump Tower, he painted Black Lives Matter on the street, which is illegal. And someone tried to paint like a different slogan. It was like I can't remember what it was, like White Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or something like that. And he said no, which is a direct violation that the government cannot do that stuff. But in all in the name of political ideology. Oh, you mean all in the Black
Power to the people, man.
Yeah, it's such.
Peace, love, and war and shit. I mean, no war. Whoops.
Yeah. All right. How long have we been going for?
Move my spectacles back on here. An hour and 53 minutes. We've been bitching about the stupid defunding the police bullshit and all the other dumbasses out there.
All right. Well, I think with that, let's turn this into a roundtable podcast. If we have someone else that wanted to join. Oh, here we go.
Who? What?
I just got to say, I'm not a fan of defunding the police at all.
Howdy, Mo.
What I think needs to happen is just we need some more police, or even if not more police, better trained and better community oriented and like working for the people kind of police. Currently, as they are right now, well, they have privilege and they are a little fat-headed about it, and it's tough to break what you've had for a long time.
There was one news story that came out in Winnipeg of a cop, an off-duty officer, and I don't remember the whole the whole trial. But anyways, so
You
this
have a
cop.
tough job, by the way.
Oh, fuck yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, and honestly, it is. But at the same time, you see some of the shady shit that's done, and I really think, yeah,
And you should
cops
be
need
held
to
to a
go
higher standard.
100%. Yes,
Higher standard. Yeah.
they should be. It should be the highest form of scrutiny.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's a whiff of something bad happened, okay, no, yeah, you have to look into it.
And I agree. That's why I'm not a fan of defunding the police. Maybe better training, more funding the police. Maybe not more police in general, but better trained, better, better checks and balances in place. Maybe different equipment so that, they're not just going, well, you're dead and, well, we can't ask you any questions now. Like, I'm just saying it happens sometimes, and I'm not saying all cops are bad, because all cops. I have friends who are cops. I know cops, and generally speaking, they're all a great bunch of people, and they have a tough job. And under pressure, sometimes mistakes are made, especially when they're thinking about going home to their wives and kids. And like if it was you and had the choice to, do I not shoot this guy or do I die and not go home today, is on a lot of people's minds. And that's a tough call to have to make on a regular basis. Like you and I don't have to think about that, thank God, because
Well,
that's their
see,
job.
yeah, and that's the thing too, is that
You
they,
know,
like how many times, or not, maybe not how many times, who has never, say when you're driving, something's jumped out and you're, oh my God, and your reflex, you try to go to the brake pedal and you accidentally hit the gas.
Not me, because I'm not an idiot.
Okay, well,
yeah, not me either.
I've done it. Okay, I was really young when I was driving, but it was back in the day. I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it now, but that's the
Never
thing,
parked
is
through the
sometimes
garage door either.
mistakes happen, which is my point of that.
Yeah,
But
never called
100%, I
accident.
don't think defunding the police is going to do anything. I don't think that that's right in the slightest. I do believe, yes, they need more training, especially with dealing with people with either other races or even mental illness.
And they do have some of that training. Like, bear in mind, the people that are lacking all the training are the people that they're dealing with on a daily basis, right? Like is the norm. So it's not. It just needs to be more. I think they just mean to be held to a higher standard. That's why I brought it up. Like a higher standard, they need to be accountable, and not. That's the biggest thing why people are pissed off about it, is some guy can shoot somebody. It doesn't matter what race, religion, or creed he is, but somebody shoots somebody and he's on a paid vacation for the next until they figure out the investigation, right or wrong, like whether he
Keyword there,
intentionally.
paid vacation. I
Well,
knew
yeah,
there was a
and
cop, like I didn't.
there's people, exactly. There's cops who have said, you know what, I should have just shot the guy so I could go on vacation.
Yeah.
We've heard them say it,
Well,
which is terrible and unfortunate, but part of the problem is they are under such stress all the time, and without maybe some support networks, like I'm assuming there is some PTSD counseling. I'm not a cop, so I don't have access to all of this information. But if there was more of that to make their jobs more tolerable, I think I'm not a fan about defunding. I just think we've given them too much power without having to. I can't even think of the word. Having to take account of that, and they're just like, well, we're the cops, and you do what you tell us to do, vice versa. Like,
which is
give
something, like
give
the
me your
whole like,
ID. Well, I don't need to. Yes, you do, because I'm a cop. Well, why? Because I fucking told you to. Hold on a second. Even in Canada, like your average normal person is going to be like, go fuck yourself. What? What? Like, well, wait a second. If you want to talk to me nice and you're asking me, and there's a legitimate reason and stuff, other than just being like, well, you're suspicious,
yeah.
which is, like ridiculous. So what? So I'm suspicious.
Well, see, and it's
What does
that
that have
like
to do with anything? I'm I'm in a weird place at a weird time of night. Am I doing anything wrong other than you think it's weird? That's have a nice day.
yeah.
Bye-bye. That's not how it goes down, though, 99% of the times. Or at least if you would have YouTube say anything about it, that's not how it happens, you know?
Yeah. Well, see,
No,
and it's the paid vacation thing, or the paid leave. I shouldn't say vacation, but the
I
paid
know, it's
leave thing that
leave.
really irritates me. Like many years ago out here, there was a cop who had killed a girl while he was drunk driving,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. He was off for a long time while the hearing was going, stuff like that. He was paid. Like it was a
Yeah.
paid leave, and it was just
Part of
so
that is, though, is
infuriating.
part of our justice system, though, right? Like, until proven guilty, you know what I mean? So, just like you and me, he's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And sometimes that means, well, he's on a paid, I use vacation loosely, but, you know, like he's on administrative duties because he's under investigation, so he can't be doing his regular line of duties. Everybody knows that, which is why they're on either administrative leave, paid or otherwise. But the onus is for what I would hope everybody is, you are innocent until proven guilty, which is why they don't lose their jobs and are fired immediately because somebody got shot. You know, it
Well,
needs to be proven that he was in the wrong and intentionally meant to kill that guy, as opposed to in the line of his duties was you know, allowable in shooting this person for, you know, safety reasons of him or those lives around him. So
so
there's a lot of things to take into that, you know. You
I'm
can't just say, well, he shot somebody, he should be fired. That can that's cancel culture right there, you know. Like you talked about this before. You can't just because somebody under pressure made an error of judgment erases their whole career of goodness or
well,
lack thereof.
so there's an
You gotta
article
look
that
at.
I'm looking up. So a former Winnipeg police officer pleads guilty in a fatal 2017 hit and run. Guess how long he was sentenced for? 2.5 years.
for a hit and run, 2.5 forking years. Are you
I agree.
kidding me?
I agree. When it comes to anybody dying, penalties should be
It should be
severe,
maximum.
especially when you're pleading guilty and it's a clear you did some wrong kind of
But it's not
stuff. You
even
know.
it's not even the pleading guilty, and it's not even the just the fact
Yeah.
that he
That
had
human life is
killed
worth 2.5
somebody.
years in
It's the
jail.
fact that it was even, or what adds to it is it was a hit and run. He killed somebody and he fled, which is
Mm-hmm.
something that is severely punished and you get good time for. But this guy, because he was a cop, he was drinking and driving. He hit somebody, killed them, ran from the scene, and only got 2.5 years. I'm sure he didn't even see any jail time. They probably have him as like time freaking served. He probably didn't even set foot in the jail.
That's a possibility, unfortunately.
So here's another one.
You know.
So this was the article that, or the incident that I was talking about. So there's no jail time for ex-cop who killed a woman in a car crash. So this officer, this piece of shit, Derek Harvey Mordenzenk, oh yeah, to remain free in the community, he will have to abide by several conditions, including remaining. Holy crap! Whoever wrote this, can you please? It's remaining at is one word. Home between 8 is one word. PM. I clearly yeah. So this guy, DUI, slams into a chick, kills her. Doesn't go to jail. Just gets fired. So, it's that type of
Justice
stuff.
served. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I know it's a little. Well, if I was the parents of said girl or whoever it was, you know, and that's just it. Like accountability is one of the things. It's the fact that it seems to the public eye in general, whether it's through right or wrong, through the media, through YouTube and whatever, that the cops can get away with murder.
Yeah, and it's
and that should rub everybody the wrong way, including the police. It really should.
Well, it's
And
those type of incidents,
and that's why people are raging against it is mostly the accountability. It's not so much that They think they're a gang and they got gang tattoos and Blue Lives Matter and they all got the thin blue line flag and yada yada.
Maybe
Whatever.
they do. Maybe they all have their own little tramp stamps.
That would be
a lot of them do.
thin
A lot
blue
of 'em do.
line in the United States, the flag, and they'll fight you over that. Just saying. Irrelevant of that fact is accountability, and they should be as freaked out about it as well the American people are, or the Canadian people. Like, it's not as common in Canada where they shoot first and ask questions later. It happens, but it's not the norm. And we also have a lot less guns in Canada, and it's intentional. But that's a tough. I can tell you, like day in day out, like these people have to deal with every time they step out of their car or their office. They literally could have a life or death scenario on their hands daily, theoretically, especially in a big city, like in a backwater community where I live, or maybe you live. Maybe not so much, like crime isn't the norm, but if you live in New York or any big metropolis area, Canada or otherwise, every day there's weird dumb shit happening where there may or may not be a life-threatening situation.
Well, yeah, like
that's tough.
There is. I can, like I said, I can see that argument. I could see, yeah, it's a hard job, but I don't know, when you hear about articles like this guy was initially charged with refusing a breathalyzer, impaired driving causing death, and criminal negligence causing death. But those are all dropped in because he pled guilty to dangerous driving. Like if you want to instill confidence in something,
that's because he had a union lawyer on his side.
Exactly.
And here they're quite expensive.
Exactly.
Unlike you or me, if we had to pay for the same lawyer, we probably couldn't.
Yeah, no, and that's what I've said, like this thin, like this blue wall of silence needs to go. No, that us versus them. Like I've seen videos of cops, saying, someone is drunk. Someone is drunk, but they're a cop, and there's, what? Okay, yeah, I'll let you go. That happens. But then there's other videos that I see cops are like, I don't want to do this, but I have to. I have to because it's the officer literally said, this is being recorded. I have to.
Yeah.
So it's what I hear is, if this wasn't recording, this wouldn't be a big deal. But because it's being recorded, I have to pull you in.
Well, and that happens too. That keeps a check on them as well. Like how many, there's been cops who have forgot to turn their cameras off after an interaction, and were like caught on camera saying, if this was 5 years ago, that guy'd be dead. So you mean you wanted to shoot him, but you can't right now? But 5 years ago, how many people do you shoot 5 years ago is my question.
Well, and in terms of that, like it could be like a retaliatory or a what do they call it? I think it's called like a retaliation.
And I think these are not the norms. I think these are cases that pop out, especially because the media takes hold of them, right?
Yeah.
You got to know.
The media.
The media, exactly. If it's really funny, we make fun of all the Chinese people, and this isn't a Chinese jab. About Chinese people, they make fun of us for one really key small point. They can't believe that we watch the news all the time, because nobody in China, I shouldn't say nobody, but the main populace doesn't watch news. Would you like to know why?
Because we don't believe it.
Because they know it's propaganda, and they think it's laughable that we do.
Yeah. Well,
because it's propaganda.
Like I said last time, the greatest trick the devil fuck, I always screw it up. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing everyone he didn't exist.
I never come at it from a big biblical angle, but okay.
No, but it's the I use that loosely in, well, they think that no, everything's okay. We're telling you the truth. The second part of that quote is, the second best thing the devil ever told, or trick the devil ever told, was convincing everyone that he was the good guy. So I would apply that to media. Everyone thinks that the media is just giving you the straight dope. No, they got a narrative to push. Trust me,
Problem
like
with the media these days is it's not about news and the truth anymore. It's about ratings and business, their companies. And they
like
will sensationalize any story to get the maximum bang out of it for ratings, and then retract later, like, oh, sorry, we misrepresented that. What we mean to say was this, and retract it and carry on. And you see that all throughout the media. They'll pounce on a story, and it's this, and this, and then they're like, oh, hold on a second, wait a sec, new information has come to light, and well,
or
there's
they'll
media.
suppress it. Like, the whole Hunter Biden
Or
laptop
yeah,
thing.
exactly. The story just stops being aired. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah, like the Hunter Biden laptop thing, with all the CP on it, and him banging hookers and doing coke off everything and anything, him snorting Parmesan cheese.
The real question is, why isn't that a story though?
Well,
like
like it was a story, but Twitter hid it. Twitter actively hid it.
Well, yes, because that wasn't the agenda. Because the Bidens are the good guys. You got to get Trump out. That was the agenda. You know
Oh my
what?
God.
Honestly, the whole media thing, it really reminds me of, it's going to sound weird, but it reminds me of Facebook. In the way that they have been caught literally manipulating people's Facebook feeds, either doing things like only showing people just negative things to see how it's going to impact their mood, or showing only positive things and see that way. So they're literally toying with people's minds. Now, you have something like that they do on social media, and this is literally like ongoing freaking test thing that they're doing. What do you think the media is doing? That is exactly what they are doing. They're literally only showing you things that they want you to see. They are constantly pushing this COVID. COVID's bad. They need everybody to be in hysteria. They need everybody to be scared. They want them
Leading the narrative.
to
I
do
agree.
this. They want to be able to have control of them. All this shit comes out about Biden or Hunter Biden or even Biden. And, nay, let's just sweep that under the rug. Trump bad. So they're literally, everybody is just fucking brainwashing you. That's it.
Well, there was a
moral to the story: stop watching the news.
Yeah, well, and
Yep.
here's one example of like,
by the way, Facebook is the news. It's social media. It's the news networks.
Well,
it's the biggest one on the planet, in fact.
So there was I think I asked you, did you hear about the is she the mayor or the governor? Governor. I think it's governor of Michigan. Did you hear about that story?
What about it?
Wait, is this the
kidnapping
I thought it was
plot?
mayor, and they were protesting outside her house, and she decided to make that illegal, and now she has patrols outside her house, and you can't go outside her house.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the thing, but no,
I could be talking about something totally different. Sorry,
there was a kidnapping plot to kidnap the governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Want to hear the super cool thing? All right, you're ready to hear about a pro for defund the police?
Wait, hold on. I got to get my tinfoil hat.
No, this has been proven,
teasing, bro.
This is the crazy part. It's provable. Out of the 18 people, 12 of them worked for the FBI. So 6 people. At what point does it become? Does the
coercion.
idea? Well, at what point does it become entrapment when it's 12 people? There's more people concocting a plan than the people that are actually concocting the plan.
Yeah. Right.
It was the FBI. 12 agents infiltrated this 6-man militia and were starting to feed the idea of kidnapping this chick.
So they were
the governor.
2/3 of the plan at this point.
Exactly. And so then the FBI said, "Oh, we stopped a kidnapping plot." It's like you did it. You set it up.
Are you kidding me?
Dead serious.
Well, and the funny thing is these people in some cases, this is how they justify it, probably couldn't do their plan all by themselves.
Oh,
were only enabled to do so with the help of an agency of some kind to entrap them into it.
Yeah,
But
there was.
all by themselves, if they were to just monitor from the outside and not get involved, probably couldn't have evolved their plan. Not to say that people couldn't do it. There are absolutely some that could, hence the warranting of them investigating them.
Yeah,
But
there was. There was
but
also.
actively trying to get them to move forward with their plan is the weird part about it.
Yeah, like I said, at what point is it the only reason this, like, and I've seen lawyers talk about it, and they were saying the argument would be, at what point,
Leading
like,
the witness.
well, yeah,
like
are you entrapping, like,
you're dangling the carrot and making them walk forward into the trap.
yeah, and like there was
Without you there, would they have even walked forward? Would there have been a trap? Would they have followed through? Well, we saw what they were talking and posting, but maybe not. But certainly, if you give them if you enable them to do so, whether it's through equipment or financing or just body help, we need 12 more guys.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have heard of stories of there was what is it, FBI agents ended up they were coercing this kid was mentally challenged in high school to peddle drugs, and they kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and then he finally does it, and I guess the chick that he was with was a police informant or whatever, and they ended up charging the kid. So they got him the drugs, and they were pushing this kid to sell drugs over and over. And then they say, "Oh, look, we stopped a drug pusher." It's like you did it.
I don't know what story you're talking about, but that's clear entrapment right there, especially if they're handicapped and not of their full faculty.
It's it's like it's stuff like that. Like, I think a lot of these kind of they have to justify their job, and I'll see if I could find the.
But should they? Should they have to? They shouldn't have to justify their job. They should be there for a legitimate reason to ferret out like nefarious things happening on home soil or abroad that can affect everybody. Like I think is what they should be doing.
Jesse
the problem is a lot of people see them as not only doing that, but they're trying to subvert Americans or Canadians and how they act and how they think and what they should or should not be doing.
So here we go.
Which is why a lot of people are a little freaked out about it. They want some accountability and some, I hate to use this because you hear it all the time, but you're a public servant and I'm a taxpayer, and a little bit of transparency is what I think a lot of people need. Like, where are my taxpayer dollars going? This is how much I pay for taxes. How much of it went to the military fund? How much of it went to wherever? Like, even if it's only a small breakdown, it doesn't have to be like to the penny or anything. I know that's a little unrealistic, but that's why I keep segueing back to the accountability. Is people just don't trust what the government and the officials are doing with their money and their resources in general. And want some transparency. Like, what are you doing to help us, and why?
Shit, now on Sonberg.
Well, and that's just a me thing. Like, I can't speak for every Canadian or every American. I'm just expressing an opinion, but.
Hold on, I'm trying to find this thing again. Crap, I freaking lost it. So he was an autistic child or an autistic teen that was pushed by police to sell drugs, and then once he did, well, they charged him with selling drugs. So, yeah. Like,
you also
that type of stuff.
There's shades of autistic too, right? Like, does he have Asperger's and he has problems with authority and etc., or is he like full on non-verbal? Like, not that makes a huge difference, but like, I can say somebody with Asperger's generally has control of his or her faculties, even though they don't like to agree with authority.
So this is from the Washington Post. I guess he was looking for he was trying to get to class, and so Jesse, nearly 6 feet tall, glanced down to scan a kid's heart-shaped face, and seeing the corners of his mouth were turned up, Jesse relaxed a bit. The kid introduced himself as Daniel Briggs. Daniel told Jesse that he too was new to Caparol, whatever high school. He just moved from Redlands, blah blah blah. Jesse, though it smacks of, Jesse answered in his slow monotone, every word stretched out and articulated. Well, blah blah blah. Hell, Operation Jump Street. Undercover drugs occur in high schools with surprising frequency. With self-consciously dopey names like Operation D- and naturally Operation Jump Street. The elaborate stings in which adult undercover officers go to great lengths to pass an authentic teens turning in homework and during detention, attending house parties, and using current slang, having Googled the terms beforehand to ensure the correctness, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I would say look into this story because, yeah, the cops pushed for this kid to sell drugs. Oh, here it is right here. A particularly heartbreaking slice of drug war insanity in which an undercover undercover police operation targeted on an autistic kid who was merely looking for friends. How, like, dude, it's stuff like that says, you know what? Get rid of them.
Yeah, but is that the exception or the rule is the real issue? Like, there may be a few bad apples. There absolutely are a few bad apples.
I don't know, but
you can't say all police, and well, you're right. And there was more than one officer involved if that was the case.
Exactly. So
that's not good.
This wasn't just one guy. Like if it was like a lone wolf, like a rogue
because of that though, you can't think that all cops are doing that. That's not right.
No, but it's that kind of like someone
it rubs me the wrong way too. It should rub everybody the wrong way, including the police. They should, and it probably did. Like, did those officers come under fire at all? Like for anything?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the story, so I don't know.
Is not the school rules or judge rules school districts is not liable of a special ed. I assume it's student. Yeah, special ed student in drug sting.
Well, of course they're not liable. They didn't have anything to do with him or the police setting him up. Of course they're not liable. That's irrelevant. That's what they told you to stop thinking about. Why and who?
Yeah, so the school did not directly work with the sheriff's department to deliberately target him. In addition,
why did the police force, and what happened to them? Like once they realized, oh, this guy is mentally deficient, and I don't know to what capacity. Like that autistic it's a spectrum, and that's why it's called a spectrum, because it's wide. There's a lot of variables that come into that.
But this is the type of stuff when the war on drugs, what are you justifying here? Really, you're gonna lock up an autistic kid?
Well, that's why Canada legalized pot, because we realized as Canadians we're sorry, and it's laughable.
Everything should be legal. I think everything should be legal. I think all drugs.
I don't know about everything. I disagree with everything. If it grows out of the ground in your backyard or your neighbor's yard, I think it's permissible.
No, I think it all should be illegal. From weed all the way up to heroin. I think we should actually take a serious look at these types of drugs. I've seen I'd like to know what's in your medicine cabinet in the bathroom then. Is my question. I bet you a lot of people, I can tell you, my mom included, I'd like to smoke me some cannabis. I've never lied about that. My second drug of choice is alcohol. I love that as well. But I can tell you half of my family members that disagree with either or both of those take more drugs on a daily basis than I ever have, ever. Yeah,
ever.
I haven't. I've smoked weed. I didn't like how I felt on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the strain, but you know what? People should be free to make their own decision. there has been a
Agreed.
lot.
You should have a choice.
There has been a lot of scientific information coming out with drugs that have actually helped like military personnel coming back
You know
from
what's
like
illegal about
Afghanistan
me
and stuff.
smoking weed? Because the
Uh,
pharmaceutical companies don't get a cut,
well,
and they're pissed
exactly.
about that.
Yeah, but so with like military personnel have come back like PTSD, and they've done some tests. I can't remember what was it. Was it with LSD? Was it LSD? And they've shown like their PTSD has virtually disappeared. Which but these guys would be considered criminals because I honestly I think it should all be open. I think prostitution should be legal. I think all drugs should be illegal. 100%.
I think I'm gonna draw the line for me personally. I don't think all drugs should be legal. I think that there
Agreed.
are certain ones that do have some good benefits. Um, and I'm trying to remember the soldiers thing. I'm pretty sure, yes, it is LSD, but there's also shrooms have had good properties with people who have had.
Psilocybins.
That's what
Yeah,
I
for
was thinking of that. I was like, it might
antidepressants.
be
Yeah.
shrooms, but I think that there are some that have their benefits, but there are some, like if you were to make it legal, let's just say you make heroin legal, and then our kid decides, oh, hey, I'm going to try that. It's legal, so I can try it. And then they get hooked on it. Like stuff like that, crystal meth, heroin, I don't think those things should be legal. I think if they
And
have
readily
some sort
accessible, I
of
agree.
if those things, which they don't, but if those things had some sort of medicinal properties or some sort of therapeutic properties that could help, then maybe have it legalized only in medical professional administering it. That is
Yeah,
it,
you
and
have to have
only
a
for
prescription.
therapeutic reasons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say I don't agree with the legalizing everything. I think certain things,
I
yes,
agree.
but not everything.
Would be legalizing it is putting it into a medical or a therapeutic setting. I don't know. I think people should have the freedom to do what they want to do with their bodies.
Well,
But
I
then,
also agree with you there. I will give you that. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of personal freedoms. You should be able to be you, regardless of other people's opinions, and vice versa. Like they should be allowed to be them, even though I disagree or agree, and vice versa. Is my opinion.
yeah,
We
I
should
mean,
all be allowed to make our own choices about everything. Our own choices. We should be allowed to do that.
yes, I do agree with the fact that we should be able to make our own choices, 100%. However, with the legalizing and stuff like that, like you said, if medical professionals administer it, then it would have to be legalized. Well, okay, but then there needs to be some sort of guidelines. I don't think that things should just be completely legalized and everybody can just go willy-nilly and just go to the drugstore and go get some crystal meth and whatever.
Well,
I
it's
don't
like
think
that
that's
now.
okay.
Like marijuana in Canada, it's still regulated to the point where
yeah.
there's you can't. There's certain ways you can package stuff, and you can't have a potency beyond X for products A, B, C, D, and there should be. Otherwise, it's a free for all for everybody all the time. It's free market for whatever.
Well, what is the concern with drugs is, it's not that you buy cocaine, it's what's cocaine laced with. They put baby powder, they put fentanyl in it, they put they put drain clean, they put all this other types of shit. You don't know what you're
Forget
getting.
cutting with it.
Baking
If
soda.
you've ever watched how it's actually made, like pure cocaine by itself is pretty
It comes from
messed
a
up,
plant. It comes from a
chemically
plant.
speaking.
Like
No, it's not just from a plant. Like they soak it in diesel fuel, and there's battery acid poured in, and
that's right.
then like it's more complicated than you're just.
So
I know, I'm
making
looking at him
tea
like,
out of it.
really? It came from a
And you
plant? Nay,
can. That's
nay.
where it came from. It's a drug today because in the past, shaman made tea out of it, and it did funny things to people, and pharmaceutical companies got a hold of that and patented it, and are making billions and disseminated a proper chemical way to extract the maximum potency out of the plant instead of you just having some tea and a good time.
Well, so I was looking it up. It's so I guess they've looked into MDMA, ketamine, LSD, and psilocybin in order to help alleviate PTSD. And
Okay, so it was LSD. Okay.
well,
PTSD,
psilocybin is mushrooms.
depression. Yeah, psilocybin is mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're both then.
But and like there's like the reason with drugs is they work. Like they do something. And I think we need to understand how can we utilize it? How can maybe some things, maybe like something like LSD.
You sound like you need to work for a pharmaceutical company because they're already a step or two ahead of you there, bro.
But
the thing is, finding ways that you can utilize them, I'm all for that. But the thing is like my point when people start screaming, okay, well, let's legalize this. it's it's opening too many doors for stupid people. Like people who are just going to be using it because, oh, I want to escape reality, so I'm going to do this, and they get all hooked on it, and then they start doing dumb shit to just try to get money for their habits and whatnot. Like it's a big.
That's a reality right now, though.
Well, exactly, and I feel like it would make it
happens.
worse personally. But if you're legalizing it to use it for, say, medicinal reasons or purposes, whether it's to help with mental illness or trauma or whatever, and it's administered safely in safe doses by a medical professional, then with that, I would be all for it.
Well, and yeah, there's I guess that kind of that argument. Like,
Something strong, like if we're talking the LSD and etc., like something like cocaine, something
like
hard, yes. Somebody wants to go out and pick a plant from their backyard and roll it up into a big fat stogie and enjoy themselves, or eat that mushroom on the thing. It grows out of the ground, and I think regulation on that is a little silly. The only regulation that's involved is because somebody else wants to make more money at it and is trying to not allow the general populace to do so. Marijuana, for example, hemp has been illegal for years, not only because it undercut the pharmaceutical industry, but it also undercut like papers and textiles.
Yeah.
Because hemp that grows, you can do crops a year instead of like trees and forests. Like we can make the same products out of hemp that we do for paper, for textiles, for all of that, and it's sustainable. We can grow that. It grows like a weed. In fact, that's why it's called weed. Unlike the trees that we cut down, etc. There's a lot of uses for it, medicinal or otherwise.
Like William, like I was just saying to Kim, William Randolph Hearst. He owned the paper press, or he had owned paper mills, and he wanted to outlaw hemp, which is the non-psychoactive part of the cannabis plant.
Yeah.
So he pushed to have
the
hemp
fiber of it, in fact, yeah.
Which is an insanely strong material.
I know. I make necklaces out of it. It's a fantastic material.
Yeah, for textiles, for building material, for like I can tell you, if we shifted away from lumber and wood to more
hemp,
weedy kind of crops, I could tell you, it grows like a weed. It's like they use bamboo in Asia for scaffolding. Because why? They can literally go in the backyard and you can cut it and set it up. It's right there. It's readily available. It grows fantastically fast in a wide range of environments and can be used for so many things. And that's why they don't like it, in fact, is because they can't go, well, I patently object to that, and we need to control it.
Well,
because you can't. It can grow anywhere. Anybody can do it. That's why they needed to control it.
I always get holes in my nipples. I have a hole in my shirt at my
That's
nipple.
a piercing. What does that have to do with
No,
anything?
which is weird because he used to have piercings there, but he doesn't have them anymore. But literally, all of his t-shirts always end up getting a hole in his nipple. I think that you
What are you
get
doing
cold
while
a
you're
lot
driving is what I
when
want to know.
you're driving, and I think you just have like super hard, like diamond nips.
Oh my
That's my
God, I
theory.
love this trucking stuff. I'm a trucker, man. Okay.
He's sitting there just driving around, his diamond nips just cutting his shirt open.
See, I
I got
understand
18
this.
wheels and that's
This
okay.
so I have a hole like right above, like right where the collar is, because that's literally right where the seatbelt sits. So you'll notice on a lot of my older shirts, there's a hole right there. It's on the left side where the seatbelt strap across.
Yeah.
But my nipple, what the fuck? What the fuck?
How did we get from defunding the police to your nipple in your truck? That's what I want to know.
I was looking down at my shirt and I have a hole on my nipple. What the?
Pictures or video, or it didn't happen, bro.
Oh, trust me, it happened. I was gonna Hulk it, but yeah, no,
Have we officially gone off track?
Oh, so that's a conversation. That's what a conversation do.
Yeah, we went past the defund the police a little bit ago.
Multiple
You were just
tracks.
talking about drugs.
We went from defund the police to talking about psilocybin,
and now your nippleitis.
Now my nipples. Don't post that because the internet will.
I won't. Mo wanted a picture, so I'm going to send him a picture.
Video or it didn't happen, bro.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I think getting if you look at how marijuana was rolled out by the government, they screwed, like they almost made the drug, like the illegal scene more money because they screwed it up. They taxed it so freaking high. They screwed it up. It's not
initially, yes, but I can tell you personally, I've seen those prices come to a little bit of more parity.
Well, hopefully, and yeah, I guess in terms of like the packaging, like remember when we bought, it was like the plastic container wrapped in plastic, and then the weed that was inside it was wrapped in plastic. Like what the? Come on,
okay, because we're going on a complete tangent. I'm going to tell you why. As a pot smoker. Only in this last year have I switched from the black market to the gray or good market. And black I can market. Tell you, well, no, I say black market because I wasn't buying it from the government or, in
I know, it just sounds funny.
And I was going to the regular guy as usual because it was a cheaper and a knowable quantity. But it's gotten a lot better. And I got to say, I no longer deal with my regular guy. I'm not buying from a government warehouse either. It tends to be online. But the quality is a little better, generally speaking. But the interesting thing is the plethora of flavors. Instead of, well, this is what I got. I can choose, a dozen different flavors of whatever flavor you're after, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that is what has switched me to the online market as opposed to my regular dude.
Oh yeah, no, I could totally
just the variety, like the variety,
Yeah, no, and it's
and they're never out. Sometimes your dealer just don't got none, and I can tell you that the online stores, they don't run out. That's a fact.
Well, and I remember seeing that there was one place in Colorado that was making like chocolate bars and stuff, and they sounded incredible. Like just the sounds, it was like like CBD, like Rocky Road or something like that, and all like strawberry shortcake and all.
That's like every pot strand name ever. That's how they do it.
It sounded incredible. Like I would just eat those if they didn't have weed in them. Like I can't because I'm a federally employed kind of industry. But
God's green crack. Yeah, I'd like to try some of that.
Yeah, like and it's a crazy. It's a crazy plant. I don't know. It is nice to see that it is kind of coming back and people are starting to build with it, and it's totally changing. I think people are kind of opening up to to it a lot more, at least in like the Western countries. But it's yeah. Oh shit. All
I
right.
might be ahead of that bell curve. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right. Let's pack this thing up. I think we've been going for almost 3 hours.
2 hours and 40 minutes. Pretty
Cool.
close.
Who's counting? Who's counting?
I can only see it because I'm recording.
He's looking at the clock.
Well,
That sounds like a faction warfare match right there. Oh my god, are we ever going to get a drop?
Watching in the clock spin. No, I'm just kidding.
Spinning hamster wheel of doom, something about that.
Hey, way off topic, just because why not? Do you guys remember, or did any of you ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah, when I was a
Yes,
kid.
unfortunately.
Do you remember the
Don't
guy who
tell
played
anybody or I'll
Xander?
deny everything.
What?
Yes, Xander. He's like the main dude.
Right? Okay.
The vampire dude?
No, the goofy friend.
Yeah.
There was a Willow, Xander, Buffy.
The
Okay.
real main dude, not the cool, pretty dude.
Yeah. So this guy, which is funny because like he was in Buffy and then I had also seen him in Criminal Minds a little bit. This guy, I tell you, he is like way off the deep end. Like he just recently got arrested after allegedly using false information to obtain prescription drugs. He had prescription drugs listed under different names when the police had pulled him over. He's 50 now, which he looks like a mess. Oh my God. He's got like long gray hair. He looks so scraggly, but you can still see that, obviously, that Xander face in there. But he has been, like, he well, lied to the police, but he's been pulled over multiple times for many different things. He had a pill bottle in his vehicle when they pulled him over. He looked a little sketch, so they started looking through his vehicle and found amphetamine salts and something else. They don't really say it was some sort of
crystal meth.
yeah, right.
Amphetamine salts. What?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he was also right now serving a 3-year probation sentence after pleading guilty last year for a misdemeanor of domestic battery for allegedly attacking his girlfriend in a California hotel room. And it's not the first run.
Was he trying to suck her blood?
No.
Inquiring minds want to know.
No.
I my guess is he was trying to suck up that woman plug and give me a Red Wing.
Oh God, that's just nasty.
See, I wasn't trying to go. Did I
know.
fear that?
How is that? Bad. That is so messed up. That is literally the second. I've never heard that before, but that is the second time I've heard that in 2 days. One was from Michael, and the other one was from you.
Red Wings is where you take the tampon.
Yeah, but I've literally never heard that before, and I've heard it twice in 2 days. Like, it's just crazy. But anyway, so with all this, it isn't his first run-in with the law. In 2015, he pled guilty to criminal mischief after he allegedly grabbed his girlfriend by the throat, stole her car keys, and smashed her cell phone. And he was arrested 4 times that year and entered rehab in June for substance abuse, depression, alcoholism. In October 2015, he also checked into another treatment center for depression. Like, this guy is just, it's a little sad.
You want another
if
one?
You look up any young actors or actresses who started at a young age, it's not an uncommon story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Here's another one. You remember Sean Wise you remember the goalie from Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Take a look at him.
That show.
Take a look.
Show.
There's so many though, like that's what I mean. That's a whole YouTube channel. Like where were they and where are they now? Like, oh my God.
Like,
no, he doesn't even look like him. He was a cute
stars
kid.
Are the worst. The youngest ones are the worst of the bunch.
How this guy Oh my God, this guy isn't even that much older than me, I feel like. He's probably in his 40s. I'm trying to remember how old they were when, well, whatever, it's irrelevant. But this guy, he was such a cute kid, and now he looks like a meth head.
Oh, Google, you do
I was going to
fantastic
say
work.
Google's a wonderful thing. Yeah, you can find out anything if
1978,
you spend some time and Google it.
42
In fact,
years
there's
old.
people, their whole job is to spend all day Googling everything to find out as much about everything that anybody wants to know about anything.
Oh no, it's just listening
Listens.
and predictive. Yeah.
Oh, also, this is how you program your AI.
Oh fuck yeah. No, it's
That's sad.
yeah, like he was a guy,
Hold the
really
afraid.
little kid. Now he's all old and creepy and drug riddled.
He looks so much older than he is. Like, he literally looks like he's like late 70s now. Like, that's how rough he looks. It's horrible. It's amazing what drugs will do to you. Like, it just absolutely destroys you. But yeah, while I was waiting for you, for us to do the podcast, I started looking stuff up, my entertainment garbage that I love. And yeah, I
all
happened
love
to
it.
see this. I was
That's
like,
the whole
not
Western
Sander.
civilization pandemic right there is our love of media is a
Yep.
fact.
See, but I don't know. I don't believe like media news. How do I say this?
Oh yeah, but
Like
it's
real
from
life.
all
Okay, well,
sides. Like you said, it's the
entertainment's real
news
life
on
too,
TV,
but
it's Facebook, it's Twitter,
yeah,
it's
but
your
that's different stuff.
have an OnlyFans account and subscribe.
But
And
yeah, but that's different stuff though. Like that kind of media, I don't. I think it's all bullshit. But I'm a sucker for like entertainment news, like about the stars and stuff like that, like your
yeah,
movie stars and your
inquiring minds would
celebrity
like to
news.
know.
There we go. Celebrity news is way different than actual news and media. Like this is celebrity shit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a little sad. Sad to see Xander went on that route.
Yeah, I remember seeing one of my friends, well, shouldn't say friends. It was a girl I knew in high school. I added her on, well, she added me on Facebook, and then she writes some fucking useless blog about useless shit.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and she was
Butterface.
no, someone else. Relax, okay? But no, she
And
she was
play
writing
nice
about,
now because somebody might be watching your vlog and listening to it, going, "What the actual TF?"
well, but so she
And I love you guys. I'm not dissing you. I'm just saying,
no, but
careful.
whatever. I don't give a shit. No, she writes a blog, and it was about what was the dude in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Not
Spike.
I
James
don't
Marsden, or are you talking about the guy who played Angel? What was his name?
Josh.
His real name? No. Uh,
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But there was
We have a bunch of
accusations that he was an
superfans.
asshole.
David
But
Berenias or something like that.
whatever, it doesn't matter. But there were allegations that he was an asshole or something like that, and people were like, "Oh, he ruined. I thought he was such a good guy, and all this stuff, and my world is destroyed." Shut the fuck up. They're actors. Like they get paid to play pretend. Like, shut the fuck. They're just seeing people just got so offended by it. It was just.
Well, not even offended. People fall in love with characters online and in movies, and are like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
she's the best thing ever." And in real life, well, no, that was her character in said movie, and she's maybe can relate to that, which is why she played it really well, but is nothing like that at all, or he, or whatever they identify as.
Oh God, a toaster. Fucking toaster.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
All right, well, thanks guys for coming. Jimmy's no longer in the chat here, but he is listening. I guess he got disconnected again. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming. And Major, thanks for making a appearance. That was nice.
A late appearance.
Yeah.
Fashionably late. Is it fashionable?
Yeah, I'd
Or just
say
fucking
so.
late.
Yeah, it definitely is. But that's okay. I think we said all the jazz at the beginning, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, no, you can say it again and check us out on God, what are we on?
It'll be in the link in the
Yeah,
description below. We're
Patreon,
everywhere.
Leave it
YouTube,
to the women. Look to the
something.
links down below. Subscribe and hit like.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Leave us
all that.
comments. Tell us what you want us to bitch about.
Or
I'd like more
I'll just,
pictures and video. That's what I would like.
or I'll just keep complaining about, government sucks and yeah. And our whole money system is destroyed. So if you guys want to hear about that,
Should we leave on like Rage Against the Machine? Fuck you. I won't do what you
Ugh.
tell me. Just for some shenanigans. So I don't know.
no, I can't.
In Rage
I
for
can't
the Machine.
rage on behalf of the machine.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's wrap this up.
All right, good night, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you later. Bye.